Happy Tuesday, everybody. Got the music going already, ready to rock and roll. And you know it's a good day. Got the juice. Got the juice finally. It's been a long time since we've hit a stream with some juice, so I'm feeling pretty good about today. I feel like everyone's going to show out. We're going to have some good vibes here because we got the orange juice. Oh, geez, no. How's it going, everybody? Let's see who we've got in chat. Jaywalker here again. Appreciate you, bro. Zerofication, good to see you, too. Epic, thank you for being an early bird, as well as Daniel Barry, Robbie's, Alan. Thank you guys so much for being here. Nexter, good to see you, as well as Fiercy Legacy Gaming. Hello, hello. Plasma Snake is here. Yeah, we got juice. Francisco, we got juice, brother. We got juice. Jay Farrow, what's going on, bro? Good to see you, man. Appreciate the hype, Jay Farrow. Just like all caps. Hitting the keyboard hard. Sean, I am liking those Mets. That's why I wanted to put on the hat today. I'm like, okay, I think I could put on a Mets hat with some type of comfort. So, Stone Donut, good to see you. Console Peasant, good to see you. Yep, we're gonna talk some Infamous today. There's been some Infamous rumors, so we'll dive into that today. That'll be really fun. Yeah, real PlayStation focused show today. We got one bit of Xbox news we'll dive into. Nothing massive on their end, though, which is a bit of a shake-up compared to where they were before. Cyber Jupiter with 178 hours in Crimson Desert. That's crazy, dude. I'm glad you're liking it, though. Came prepared with the music this time. I know, I had my ducks in a row. It's because today was like a really well-organized day for me, dude. Like, before this, made the Retro Rebound thumbnail, got that video live, transitioned right into the Define and Duke script. Literally finished that 5 minutes before we were going live here. Grabbed some juice, went downstairs, here we are, live. And after this, got a meeting with my art director, and then my day is done, and it's time for more Lego Batman. It's one of those good days where just everything's blocked out. The only thing I couldn't do today was exercise. It's like 90 degrees out. I've been on like a good just outdoor walk kick, but every day I've been doing ab workouts and stretches. I've made sure to stretch every day. I'm at the point now where I'm starting to feel when I'm sitting in my chair, like the hammies are getting tight, dude. Like I mean, again, I'm stretching every day, but I'm still like really feeling bound up. So that was the only thing missing from today, though. So I'm doing good. I hope you guys are all doing well. It's really awesome to see so many of you here already. Josh Rourke, good to see you here. Where's the GTA 6 trailer, you're asking? I was dead wrong. I really thought it would be happening, but I guess summer starts June 22nd, if I remember correctly. So I guess we jumped the gun a little bit, but I thought the pre-order stuff, like, certainly a new trailer and everything, like, I don't know. That was my bad, though. I feel bad. What else we got here? What's the name of that ramen restaurant in New York City you mentioned previously? I forgot to write it down last time. Oh, Zerofication. Kung Fu Little Steam Buns Ramen. They got a place in Hell's Kitchen. They got a couple of locations in New York City, but they got one in Hell's Kitchen. That's my favorite one. It's just like so good. Get the, while you're writing things down, soup dumplings. My wife and I just went for her birthday. Soup dumplings, the scallion beef pancakes. It comes with a sauce you can dip it in. It's just fucking immaculate, dog. Get their pan-fried dumplings. Those are really good. What else? We got some knife-cut noodles there this time. That was really good. It's just the best fucking place on earth, man. It's so good. So good. Some people are saying music's loud. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, I turned it down. Oh, I think it's because, I think I did wrong here. Hang on. Hang on. Music's blasting. It's nice, though. I appreciate the positive vibes here. I think I've got it. Let me go a little bit lower. I think lower is always safe, just in case. I'd rather be able to turn it up than have to turn it down. Sorry about that. Yeah, I had it on max volume on the browser, and I think that's why I got cranked up. It was loud on my end, too. That's why I was hitting the headphone volume, but usually what's loud on my end isn't loud for you guys. I appreciate you letting me know, though. Thank you for that. But yeah, Kung Fu Little Steam Buns Ramen Zeroification. Enjoy. Let me know if you get it. It's really awesome. Let it bang. Should be louder. Yeah. I mean, I'm at least, that's the thing. At least I was blasting a peaceful soundtrack. You know, if I was blasting like a, you know, like I was Persona music or something like that, I'd be like, yo, I could barely hear you. Oh, we got a couple super chats here. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you so much. Let's see what we got here. I haven't caught a live stream in a while. Keep your physical collection safe. No hacks. Yeah, I know, right? Poor Colin. We'll talk about that a lot in Defining Dupe, but yeah, just what happened to Colin is fucking insane, because it's not even just like, oh my God, it happened to him. It's like, it's just more so the nature of like how it's happening. Like clearly someone on the back end is doing this. So yeah, definitely felt very grateful for my physical collection. Like I know Colin was like, I will literally quit gaming if I lose all this. I'm not there. Like I'm like, I don't really have an attachment to my profiles. My trophies a little bit, but for me, I like it's the action of getting the platinum, but I also get it's kind of showcasing it later. So I understand Colin's put way more into that than I have like 46 platinums. I don't have a lot. For someone who loves platinums, I don't have many. I always pussy out, so I gotta work on that. But great to have you here, Nerf Ninja. Thanks for tuning in, dude. Daddy T says, as long as Barry Eversley stays exclusive to Maddie, that's all I care about. Such a lovely couple. 15-minute thoughts on the great Moriarty hack. Yeah, so speaking of which, right, we can dive into that a little bit more since so many of you are asking about it. You know, beyond like what happened with Colin, I guess really it was a solidification that like, I mean, well, how about this? What we're learning through this PSN hack is that all they need is like your profile and some sort of like transaction data, and that's it. So they can get around like two-factor. And I know things are always hackable, but like there are things that do exist to make it very difficult, and like walls that you as a consumer put up so that you can at least catch the hack while it's happening and you can make the proper changes. Like that sort of stuff does occur. You know, especially if you're lightning fast, like you can usually get on top of it before anything happens. But in Colin's case, it just showed that there's something wrong on the back end of PlayStation, clearly. So just terrible. Made me feel good about my physical collection though. And just, yeah, like it should not be, there should be no reason why, if your PSN is public, that like you can get hacked. Like, dog, how do you think people play online, share stuff? So they've got to look into it. And honestly, it could have happened to a worse but also better person. You know, like I hate that it happened to Colin. I know he, you know, we were talking about it. He was really upset, and like I get it. Like PlayStation's everything. You know, like he loves that shit, dude. So there was that level, but also it's good it happened to him because he's the guy who has all the connections and could shake every branch in that tree to make some attention be brought to this. I mean, it went trending. It went trending. It was heavily covered by news outlets, and it wasn't just, oh my God, how did this happen to Colin? It's like, this can happen to anybody. You know, it's clear that with like trophy hunters and whatnot, people are being targeted with it. You know, the person threatening Dustin from their profile too. Such a shame. But the fact that it happened to Colin means that I think at least some change might occur. Where's the Witcher 3 DLC announcement? Isn't it about time? My guess is maybe Summer Games Fest. If it's coming September, like it's been rumored, and man, that would really kind of suck, because like now September is loaded. You got Wolverine, Blood of Dawnwalker, I can't wait for. You got Phantom Blade Zero. We're hearing rumors that Gears will be there, and if you throw Witcher 3 DLC in there, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna pick. Yeah, Uncharted Wolf, good call on that. About the PlayStation hack real quick. Yeah, Colin contacting Greg is like the craziest shit. I literally was because a bunch of people were DMing me about it, like, yo, what happened? Is Colin okay? Like this sort of stuff. And I was just like, I mean, I guess the good thing about this is Colin and Greg are talking a little bit. It's always been my belief, Colin wouldn't care if I'd say this, but like it's always been my belief that those two buried the hatchet and like publicly started to work together a little bit more. Like I sincerely believe that it would do a lot of healing for the industry, because the two sides are so divided, man. Like it's such a shame. There's a lot of rational people who enjoy both of our contents, but or both of our content libraries, I should say. But I think it would do some real healing if those two got together, because they do kind of, in my opinion, resemble so much of the divide between like networks and ideology, and if they can get along, I think we all can get along is the idea. So I know Colin's tried. You know, it's not to lack of trying on Colin's behalf, but it's, again, I think something that would be really good for the industry. They could do that. The reunion would be like Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith patching up. Yeah, it's that. It's also like we're getting older, dude. Like, I thought they would bury the hatchet by now, but we're getting older. It's like, you guys got to figure it out. Like, at one point, someone's going to get sick or something's going to happen, and, like, this is going to be forced on you. Like, you should do it while you can choose now while everyone's happy and healthy. That would just be my own 2 cents. Roberto, thank you for your super chat. Thanks for the Blood of Dawnwalker coverage. My most low-key anticipated game. Also, you got to believe. Yep. Got to believe. Yeah, for Blood of Dawnwalker, my pleasure. I'm looking forward to covering more. You know, I think it looks really, really good. Definitely up my alley. Like, yeah, combat looks a little janky would be the right word. I got to find a new word for jank. I got to expand the vocab because jank just applies to so many things so well for me because it happens to be in a lot of games I love because I love RPGs. But Blood of Dawnwalker, man, like, the combat doesn't look fantastic. It looks good, but, like, it reminds me of Vampire combat, where I don't mind it. I think it's going to be fine and fun, but I feel like a lot of people who are, like, combat purists and think every game's going to be Devil May Cry 5, they're like, yo, the fuck is this? But I think where it's putting the choices in, the time management, that shit looks awesome. Lord Ike, thank you for your donation. Great profile picture. Maddie, good to see you, man. What type of juice are we hyping today? Good to see you, Chris. Thanks for being here, as always, brother. The juice we're hyping today, this is... Oh, man, we made this months ago. So what happens is we make these juices, and then we freeze them. We haven't made juice in a while, but we decided to finally just, like, take some out of the freezer and defrost them. So you're going to see juice for a couple of streams, for sure. This, I think, is just pure... What did we do for the orange? I think this is just pure orange juice squeezed, though. I think. Let me taste it. Oh yeah, that's definitely just orange juice. Yeah, so we're just rocking some casual OJ today, Chris. Thanks for being here for the juice hype. Nerf Ninja, thank you again. Do you think you'll be available for the Pragmata LSM spoiler cast? If not, will you do your own? I don't know if they're including me or not. Like, I told them in the chat when we were talking about it, I was like, yeah, I beat it. Like, just let me know. But I feel bad about, like, the LSM spoiler cast because they're definitely, like, one of those things where it has to work out really well for my schedule. I already struggle to do the bonus shows with everything else I have on my plate, and I'm very thankful that, like, the team's super understanding. But, you know, when, like, for example, Summon Sign is something I like to do a lot, and even that I struggle to squeeze things in. And so sometimes with LSM spoiler casts, especially for games I really like, it's not the case for Pragmata, but, like, I talk about certain games a lot. Like, I remember when we did a spoiler cast for Veilguard, that was, like, my 15th time doing a full run back of it, and I feel like I become boring to listen to in that case, so I try to be cognizant of it. But for Pragmata, like, definitely interested. I like this story a lot. It was definitely, like, my lowest takeaway. Like, it has a good soul to it, but it's really the gameplay and the flow and the loop there. And I honestly don't know if I'd be able to do the spoiler cast because I haven't done I haven't finished, like, the end game content yet, so I heard there's, like, a secret ending and stuff that I've yet to check out. So we'll see. But thank you for your interest in me. And if I will do my own, maybe, I don't know. It's a little late for a Final Verdict, and there's not much more. Final Verdict series is a little iffy for me at times. Like, there's times with Lego Batman where I feel like I have more to say already after putting another, like, almost 10 hours into it, and then playing some Lego Star Wars. And we put up that retrospective on Retro Rebound today. With Pragmata, there's less to say, but if I do the end game content, I have more to say. I will dive into that a bit more. It seems people just enjoy the Final Verdict, so I want to get a little experimental with that and just kind of, like, see what happens if I just make that a consistent thing I always deliver on. I'm not, like, overly particular with it. Just do it on stream. That's a good point too. Good point too. Yeah, not a bad idea. Unpolished, deactivated LeBron. That's a good word. That's a good word. We'll use that. Unpolished. Unpolished sounds like super negative. Does janky sound negative by comparison? Meatball saying that 007 next week will be the first game to make him put down Marathon. Wow. Wow. Marathon since March 5th. I respect it. Game over. I see what you're doing there, bro. And I just want to say I respect the game. He said dicks in my ass also got banned from PSN. I'll give you that. That's a good one. I'll give you that one. Those Forza Steam numbers are crazy. Yeah, what are we looking at on that? I haven't checked it yet myself. Steam players, Forza Horizon 6. Let's see what we got here. Let's bring it up for the chat. Damn, look at that. Wow. Holy shit, man. Good for them. What's Forza Horizon 5 doing then? I'm curious. Oh, there it is in the search bar. Okay, people have kind of moved on now. That's so much higher than the peak. That's crazy. Wow. Yeah, I mean, this game is going to destroy, I think. I don't know. My hot take is like I'm not a racing game guy in the first place, so my take shouldn't be really overvalued in this case. Like, you should go listen to people who are more into the genre. I was a little bit underwhelmed by Forza Horizon 6 with the 10 hours I played. Like, I was just, you know, like, yeah, it's Horizon 5 on a new map, and that works, but I feel like there's more new stuff they can get out of the experience that they're just kind of going back to the old playbook on. Like, you know, a lot of Forza Horizon 5 in my brain is like hitting big jumps in slow motion, and you see planes overhead, and it's like they do it again in 6, and I'm pretty sure they did that in 4. Like, they're just running the same playbook back, and I think they can do more. I think there's just exciting race types that they could do as well. Like, have they ever tried like boat races, plane races? I know it's about cars, but I feel like they could just have an all-in-one sort of racing experience. I feel things like even story could have been pushed more. They tried to have a story in Horizon 6, and because 5 kind of established things so well, and 6 is just continuing it, it does put a highlight on certain things that 6 is lacking. So I don't know. To me, it was like, yeah, I mean, when I talked about Undefined Duke, I said Horizon 6 is going to be the game that like people are going to love this thing. For me, though, as someone who's like not a really big racing game fan, I'm just like, I wouldn't call it I would kind of call it disappointing for me at least, but I'm just to be honest, like I hate to use the term because it's not a bad game, but for me as someone who's trying to like get into it and just understand, we call it on Defining Duke the Forza Bros. Like trying to understand the Forza Bros, it to me is like another one of those things where I look at it and go, you'll like it, but it's not pulling me back in. Yeah, Tony, good call out there. A campaign similar to Need for Speed. Yeah, it doesn't have to be like a riveting story, but like you have Tokyo street racing. There's like factions that you could form. Like you could make a story out of this. Nothing crazy, but a story, like something. I don't know. I think they got some pieces that they could add to the puzzle here. Where running back Horizon 5 is a great idea. You should do that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's 6 in Japan. Like there's some additions that I think could have been had that weren't there. The Discover Japan part of the story is cool. It's just like a tour thing, but you know, it's all right, you know. But I think for people who love racing games, I mean, obviously if you're like someone who likes Gran Turismo or prior Forza games or Crew Motorsport or Motorfest, what is it called? The Crew. You'll like what's here a lot. Next Forza Horizon needs to give you a gun. Appreciate the super chats, guys, here. What are your thoughts on PlayStation users getting their accounts taken over because of the lack of Sony security, even with two-factor authentication? Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, man. It's terrible. It shouldn't be happening at all. And especially with such easy to access information, you know, at least hackers had to put in a little bit of effort to get into your accounts, but they just make it fucking piss easy here. So I hope they do something about it. I trust they will, because it's one of those things where right now they're lucky it's a small scale issue, but you think PlayStation, who has a knack for like shutting shit down when they've got a back end exploit available. I think about the great PSN hack that shut down the PlayStation network for the PS3, or what led to, they found an exploit on the Vita and they thought it was going to happen again. So that's what led to the beginning of the winding down of the PlayStation Vita. So with all that in mind, you'd think with something like this, which is going to stop people from spending money. Like for me, my response to this was I removed my payment methods from my account. I was like, I'm not buying games on PlayStation right now. And especially, at least digitally. And when it comes to reviewing shit, I didn't think of this until I was talking to my editor, Dan. He's like, if you get any offers for review codes, do not take them on PlayStation. And I was like, dude, that's so fucking true. I was like, you know, someone could just get in to any reviewer's account and just leak the whole thing. I was like, I'm not taking any chances on that. So it's pretty terrible, and I hope they figure it out. I think it's bad for the business. Even if it's not widespread, it can become widespread, it looks like. Forza shouldn't be excluded from Game of the Year nominations. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think it reviewed really well, and if the broader voting class, if you will, if you want to call it that, who puts these things, the ballot, that's the word I was looking for the Game Awards, wants to put it in there, I think it's totally fair. It certainly sets a quality marker. Matty, since Forza Horizon 6 is my first Forza game, I like it. Yeah, that's also another factor, Mithu. Like, yeah, if you never played Forza Horizon, like for me, 5 was the first one I dove into pretty deep, and I had a great time with it. So there is also that factor. Good call out here. So thank you for saying that. Love what you do. Keep up the good shit. Thank you, Samurai James. Appreciate you. Maddie, you got more write-ins for Duke this week. I know. I had a lot to work with this week. It was awesome. The audience seemed to have taken it as a call out. I'm trying to remember what I said, but in my head, I didn't feel like I was calling out, but I have to go listen back to what I said. But a lot of people seemed like pressed a little bit, and that's not what I try to do. I think it's important to sometimes remind the audience, like, you are needed in this situation, at least in my experience. The audience doesn't always just come to me. I am like many others out there. I passively enjoy things. I quietly enjoy things. When I really like something, I mean, obviously when it's a game or really any form of entertainment, you probably have heard about it on one of my many platforms. But when it comes to like other content creators, I do just like, if someone's doing a bang up job, I don't get involved in the comment section, because sometimes when you comment from your accounts, like some creators have taken it as a form of disrespect because you're kind of putting the attention on yourself. So I don't know. To me, it's like that decision, as well as, you know, sometimes silently enjoying things is nice. But with defining Duke, I was like, sometimes we need a little bit more here. And sometimes you got to remind the audience, like, you're a big part of this show. So I am very appreciative of those who did write it, but I hope they didn't take it as a major call out. Making Lockmore an NPC in your game, perhaps. Hey, Ben, I mean, why not? It's possible. I'd love to have Locke as an NPC in our game. My pleasure, Palmer. Thanks for tuning in, dude. Do you think it's wraps for BioWare if Mass Effect doesn't perform? It's a good question. I feel like they've been on the ropes for a long while now. Yeah, I feel like we've been saying this for a while. So there's part of me that goes, yeah, this should be their last chance, all things considered, and how badly Veilguard did, both with optics, but even sales. It's not like all the conversation translated into sales. It sold 1.5 million units. That's not good at all. At the same time, they're not supposed to be this kind of studio, but BioWare could just start remaking shit. Like, I'm not saying that's what I want. I'd like for them to go back to their golden era, but BioWare could go back to just, hey, let's remake Jade Empire. Let's remake Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. Basically, the Halo Studios playbook. Because when Halo Studios was on the ropes, I'm like, they're done, bro. They lost all of their leadership. Their team is completely split. This IP is getting wrangled from them. You know what fucking Xbox does? They doubled down. They're like, instead, we're going to rename them from 343, which is already a Halo-inclined name, to just straight up Halo Studios. And we're going to give them the next mainline game and let them remake the classics from your childhood. I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, if that's going to happen, then BioWare, I could see them just saying to EA, look, we'll remake these old games. While we're remaking them, we'll chart forward on the new stuff. And so that way it's guaranteed sales. You're seeing a lot of companies trend in that direction. Like even CD Projekt Red, right? They're remaking Witcher 1 because they know people are going to like, you know, a safe... I shouldn't say it's a safe remake. That's a more difficult remake. But it's more Witcher. It's already kind of blueprinted out. There's still creative decisions and challenges to be made, but it's a little bit easier to solve because it's been done before. And then you continue work on Witcher 4 and 5 and 6 alongside the next Cyberpunk. So a lot of companies all across the board, Square Enix is another great example, are doing that. So I can see BioWare going in that direction too. BioWare getting into remakes would be sick though, because I just like to see them give Jade Empire a second lease on life. Jade Empire, I think, was one of their most overlooked. It is their most overlooked game. FSR 4.1 on Xbox. Could it be a PlayStation 5 Pro alternative? Yeah, I mean, it could be. AI upscaling continues to move forward in a very interesting way. Certainly PS5 Pro with PSSR showed some pretty impressive results where it did get me to buckle a little bit. But since I only have a 4K OLED monitor, I don't have one for like my television screen. I wanted to wait on a PS5 Pro until I had that. Although I know it would have been more intelligent to buy a PS5 Pro now before the price hike. It just wouldn't have, I wouldn't have gotten my maximum amount of use out of it. So I just thought, or I guess I should say maximum amount of performance out of it. But it definitely turned my head a little bit. So Xbox implementing that is definitely great. Certainly great because their ecosystem goes, you know, beyond their own console. I'm thinking about things like the Xbox Ally, and AI upscaling can help there a little bit, getting maybe a little more juice out of the game without, pardon me, over consuming the battery life. So could be an alternative. I mean, I'll wait for Digital Foundry's word on this because, to be honest, anything else from me beyond this point, these thoughts would be word salad because I am not the most technically inclined, and I always admit that. So we'll definitely see, but for me, I'll wait for the experts to speak on it because it's always been a point of weakness for me. Molotov, man, thank you for your donation. We appreciate you. Radic, good to see you, brother. Radic, hey, I want to shout you out actually because you're a big reason today's news stream is happening, because I was gathering the headlines. I was like, I know I want to talk about inFamous coming back, but actually your video popped up when I was looking up the information on inFamous and sort of like the rabbit hole of sources for this. So when we put the video up on Matty Slop, I'll have your channel linked because honestly, I leaned heavily into your video on sort of like tracing Jordan Midler's sources in the past, and also some of the comparisons he made. Just, it was like a really great video, so I want to make sure we give proper credit and build off that conversation. But just wanted to thank you for that. But it's good to see you, man. I do listen to hip-hop, but more like 90s, early 2000s. I don't listen to a lot of current rap, so I have no thoughts on anything Drake's done here. The only reason I'm actually tapped into it, I had no idea it was happening until I saw Gene Park getting involved. So, you know, I unfortunately can't offer much here. I could tell you, based on my playlist, what hip-hop I have been listening to. Although I've been more on an indie alternative wave, and then because I've listened to that playlist so much for the last 2 months straight, I'm kind of back to listening to video game music for a little bit until I can refresh that playlist. But right now, Big L, Nas, 50 Cent, of course. What else do we got on this playlist? It's also been a little bit explorative for me. There's just some names that I've heard only like one particular song from. And I'm like, I should like dive into their albums more. Mick Jenkins is a new one for me. That is somewhat newer. Carefree is the song I'm talking about. That I heard. I heard that on an Aaron Moten Instagram post, and I was like, this is fucking great. So I added it to my playlist. Gangstar, he's someone I'm new to. I did not know him, but I got here. Code of the Streets, you know my steez work. Like, yeah, awesome. So I'm getting back into it. That was really my childhood. It's so funny because I would find a game like Mixtape infinitely more relatable if it was actually based around music I grew up with. I mean, I saw the music that was going to be in that game, and I was like, I don't really relate to any of this or this era of the 90s that they're trying to channel here. For me, I would like a game like that, but with like hip hop. That's something I would find very relatable. I think that'd be sick. But yeah, sorry I have no thoughts on Iceman, but appreciate you, Radic. Good to see you here again, brother. JT Harden, give me the good word, Matty. I got you, brother. Yeah, we got some news coming up here. We should let me get that organized a little bit here. Let me get my document over. What did someone write in chat? Timberland. No, outside of Promiscuous, that's the only that's my only knowledge of Timberland. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta keep it real. Music is okay. So put it this way: growing up, obviously gaming came first. That is the most obvious thing I've said thus far in this stream. Movies and TV were a second, but movies I fell really, really behind on. As much as I feel foolish for it nowadays. I'm kind of glad I waited on movies a lot because I just appreciate them so much more now because they're just, I don't know, like the way they tell their stories in such a, I was so used to growing up only with 20, 30, 40-hour stories. So to see such impactful stories be conveyed in a couple of hours, I thought was very impressive. And just going through that with Retro Rewind a couple of years ago, really made me like deepen that appreciation for movies. And so then from there, it really became a musical journey. So I've always loved music, but I've always been into game music because that's just, it all starts from video games. So if anything was game related, or again, I was very casual with movies. So yeah, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, like, you know, total casual with that shit. Sorry, I'm just getting all my links up here. So yeah, it's been a bit of a journey here on a creative level. I'm a late adopter, unfortunately, to a whole lot of it. So yeah, there's just artists that like I should know more about, and I feel bad that I don't know much about them. But that's what I'm kind of doing now. It kind of makes it exciting, like getting to it so late. There is a little bit of a benefit to that. So I do appreciate exploring things in my adulthood. I'm just getting some trailers up now. Gents, hang on one sec, ladies and gents. So many links for this story. I grabbed like at least a dozen. I love this track. This is from ESO. It's supposed to be a Skyrim playlist, but this is definitely ESO. I've heard this too many times to open the game. Thank you, Pierce Diamond. Yeah, Retro Rewind was a ton of fun. I wish Retro Rewind did better. It became a lot of work. It's one of the few times I just had to admit and just be like, yeah, look, I'm like outclassed here. I don't have a chance in hell at continuing this moving forward. But definitely it was one of those things where if it was doing really well, that would have influenced the decision because we would have hung with it and just made it work. And then maybe like turn, like I think about all these different channels that are like valves and maybe like slightly turn some down and this one up. It was super fun to explore that though and kind of just start to understand where people had gotten, like, so many of the things that I loved, where they were actually, what actually inspired them. You know, that was the biggest thing for me with movies. Like, it also just kind of made me more, I think, culturally educated. Like, I loved Bethesda's artistic direction in some of their games, but I also realized, like, oh, they're just, like, huge Alien fans. Huge Alien fans. When you look at some of, like, the technology in Fallout, it's like, oh, they're huge Alien fans. Like, the way they translated that from the original Fallouts and whatnot. So you start to see, like, how their era, that era inspired that current era of games. And it's kind of interesting to just be kind of understanding that loop better. Long story short, man discovers movies and enjoys them. Film YouTube is in a weird place right now. It's similar to gaming. It's just an outrage industry. Interesting. What's there to be pissed about in movies? Like, I was looking at my AMC app, and I mean, I know the summer's coming up, but like right now, Mortal Kombat 2's out. I heard Michael is terrible, unfortunately. Sheep Detectives is apparently underrated. Project Hail Mary kicked ass. Super Mario Galaxy was a bit divisive, but it seems people do like it. I don't know. That's just recently, too. Like, I feel like there's been a lot of good shit. I have not seen Top Gun yet, Parker. That's one I'm behind on. I've not seen Pacific Rim either. Yeah. Just a ton of... I mean, you kind of accept with this, like, as I go on this journey of experiencing more and more things that I've missed, I've just kind of accepted I'm not going to see it all. You know, there's just... Especially, I look at my, like, shelf of games here. There's so many I've bought that, like, right here. Here's a really random one for you. Condemned 1 and 2. I love survival horror games, and these are apparently just, like, cult classics. I don't know if they're good or not. I've heard they're, like, definitely janky, but would love to play these, you know? So what happens is, like, I think about movie marathons versus gaming, and then The decision would be a little bit easier if I also wasn't a game reviewer. So when I'm lucky enough to say get Lego Batman early, like that's gotta be priority one. And that's what usually happens is I make a plan and then a review code comes in, which is awesome. So I jump on that, I do my thing, whether it be in the case of Lego Batman Impressions, because I didn't have enough time to finish it, or I do have time to finish it and I do so. You're kind of just working away at it. And then you get back to that original plan. And unfortunately, you don't get to clear it all the way out because usually something else crops up. It's such as the way of life of content creation. No complaints here, but it definitely means that sometimes I look at my shelves longingly. Like I'm at the point in my life where how I describe it is because my cultural understanding and just, I guess my understanding of entertainment as a whole has deepened so quickly. I want to go back to the things I love and test them and just like hold them. Do they pass that test? Like, I'm a huge Final Fantasy 13 defender, but I haven't done a full trilogy playthrough in a long time. Like, I think I played all these games at launch each time. Actually, I was a little bit behind on 13 too. Yeah, but I haven't played these through in full for years. And I'm like, well, I feel like I know so much about good storytelling now. And I value certain types of like ways games handle exploration. I know 13 is really linear, but people called it complex. But I also feel like stories nowadays are more complex because the viewer has grown with the creator. So they can go deeper and challenge people in ways that older stories couldn't. So is 13 story truly convoluted and complex, or is it a little bit more easier to process nowadays given how we've kind of gone to extreme lengths in the past to, you know, I think of like Kingdom Hearts to understand that story. So that's kind of where I'm at, where I want to go back to some of these things. 13 is a really random one, but I'm looking here. Deus Ex, Fable I've replayed a bunch of times, so I don't really need to replay that. Lost Odyssey would be sick. Yeah, I just look at this is just my 360 shelf, and it just fills me with energy. I'm just like, I just sometimes want to, like, I have a great job, and sometimes you just want to not work and just only game. Adulting. Condemned 2's story was fine until it jumped the shark at the end, but 1 was much more grounded and focused. Interesting. Interesting. You got my attention. That's the other thing, too. I talk about that, like, interesting, right? Condemned sounds so interesting. And I'm sure it's not a long playthrough. Like, if I go to, let's see here. How long to beat Condemned, what is it? Condemned Criminal Origins. And how long to beat has it as 7 hours. It's like, that's really not a long playthrough at all. But then there are these like little indie gems popping up too that are really exciting to me as well. It's like, oh, where do you even begin, man? Maddie, do you think we'll see consumers pivot back to buying physical over digital? I think it'll be niche still, but I think it'll be relevant enough to keep companies in, because newer generations are coming up, and some of that generation is tired of subscriptions and not owning their content. And so while that will never be super broad like it once was, I don't think the digital formula has proved itself entirely. I mean, what happened to Colin with his PSN hack is a perfect example of that. Like, you're not for many people, like for Colin, it wasn't this case, but for many people, your whole library is gone just like that. The only way someone can get this library is they would have to come in with a fucking moving van and haul the entire load of games out. You can't take my games in this case. I guess you could. I guess you could if you had a moving van and you decided to steal them. But I just feel like people are realizing more and more in this digitized era that just like the real thing is valuable. Like there is, I would say this, okay? This is like my hot take. Let me pull Lost Odyssey. There's just a value to like this, like a connection with this. Like you hear that? Just you're just grabbing the game. Like it's a thing, and you open it. Dropped one of 4 discs, and like, you know, the experience is on this. And a manual is here, and it breaks down the game for you. Like, it's art at the end of the day, but it's a product that you buy. And I feel like digital just removes that connection. And in turn, it removes people's connections with the games because they're just content eventually. So, play Lost Odyssey. You know, physical games are gifts too. I have strong connections to some games just because, like, my grandma, my Mimi, she would gift it to me, and like it just created a memory because it was like a thing that was given. There's definitely some meaning behind, like, I gift someone something on Steam that's valuable too. But I feel that physical connection, will make its way back a little bit. I don't know if it'll ever overtake, but certainly I think it's becoming a little bit less niche as ownership issues continue to crop up and more people just feel like they're being challenged a bit. Think of that reaction to what happened with PSN and the DRM drama, right? I'm glad it turned out to be nothing, I put in quotes, but the reality is PlayStation could very easily change that. And if not for people signing onto the PS4 and checking, we wouldn't have actually had all that information because the 5 hides it all. So it just shows how easily your content could go away. And that's why I try to buy physical whenever, wherever I can. There we go. See, Bro Moment saying, I got Assassin's Creed 1 as a present from my grandpa. And you probably remember that game well. I'm not saying it's your favorite game, but, like, there's something about it there, right? That pulls you back in. Let me pause the music here, and let's get our first story up and rolling here. We're gonna talk about inFamous making a comeback. Seeing a lot of people talk about it in chat, so I want to keep you guys hanging any longer. So let's have some fun here, and I got all the links up. And so let's get this thing going, shall we? Hang on, I just got to get one more thing up. Okay. See, I actually paused the music. I know. I actually did it. Sorry, my Steam notifications are like popping up here. I was like, how do I turn these off? So I'm just doing that real quick as well. Settings. Notifications. Okay, there we go. Got them off. I was like, why the fuck? Okay. Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Time for some real-time Matty slop. Now, just so you know, you can split the audio channels in OBS so you don't record music and you can leave it on. Yeah, I was talking to Kev Dewey. There's a little bit of learning I have to go through with OBS. I'm a little bit behind. Like, you can just run the audio straight through, pardon me, that track. And that's something I need to look into so that I can keep this to being a nice little listening experience. Okay. Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Time for some Matty Slop. Feel free to spam the meat emoji if you got it going. Okay, let's do this. My dog just keeps fucking barking. He's got such a high-pitched, piercing type of bark, but he's so cute. He's so cute. All right, let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite PlayStation series may be making a return, and this is part of a broader conversation on what other classic PlayStation IP could return, and just, again, how overall exciting that is. Now, this information is courtesy of Jordan Midler, who works at Video Games Chronicle. You may recognize that name if you pay attention to Fallout news, because he did crop up there talking about the Fallout that you're all waiting for, potentially being on the way, which many of us think as New Vegas 2, but that could also be a Fallout 5. I'm not exactly sure there. But he also is known for the Days Gone, PS5 rumors, which began to rev up as PlayStation Lifestyle elegantly wrote it. I picked this article here because Jordan Midler's Twitter account is on private right now, so I can't grab the actual tweet of him, talking about it. So I had to rely on an article here where you see that he was talking with Jeff Grubb today, and they were talking about Days Gone getting a remaster. A lot of people didn't believe it. Obviously, we know Days Gone remaster is a real thing. So Jordan Midler has a track record, and there you are with some PlayStation stuff at least. So there's something to grab onto there. But the conversation got very interesting when inFamous was brought up, because I do really love Ghost of Tsushima. That was one of my favorite games of the last generation. Admittedly, I haven't played Yotei, but inFamous is so good. It's a little bit of an argument I have with myself. Sucker Punch really does justify moving on, in my opinion. Like, I am a huge Sly Cooper fan. It's one of my favorite IP ever. It's one of my favorite games of all time. But when they moved on to inFamous, I was like, okay, this is actually really good. Like, good call. And they moved on to Ghost of Tsushima, and I was like, yeah, like, this is also amazing. And then Yotei was apparently more of that. I still got to play it, but they seem to be, as we'll talk about in a little bit, moving on to their next thing. And could an inFamous remake be that? Well, we have the write-up here from PlayStation Universe on how exactly this hit the headlines. According to the latest Video Games Chronicle podcast, PlayStation is working on the revival of the inFamous franchise for PS5, although right now it isn't known if it's a remake or a brand new entry in the franchise. Jordan Midler revealed that he's under the impression that there is an inFamous thing happening somewhere else in PlayStation at the minute, and noted that Sucker Punch Productions, the studio behind the original games, isn't involved in the project. Later that day, Greg Miller on the Kinda Funny Gamecast called Jordan Midler and asked him to elaborate on the scoop, to which Midler said he's only heard it from a single source and has yet to corroborate it. However, the VGC journalist added that based on what he was informed, it is believed that the project will be a remake of the first two inFamous titles for PS5. That wasn't told to me directly, but that's been very much implied, he said. He also added that there was a chance it could have been scrapped. So this is still a little bit more in limbo, but when you start to pay attention to the broader PlayStation and sort of moves that are happening, I think it makes a little bit of sense as to why exactly PlayStation actually might be going this direction and how Sucker Punch might not be involved. Now, with that said, let's go to who I think is more ironclad when it comes to leaks and rumors and that sort of stuff, and that's Nate the Hay. Anytime this guy comes up, without putting all the pressure on Nate's back, it feels like you can kind of lock it in a bit. This isn't to say that the inFamous remake is exactly happening, but it's what PlayStation is kind of thinking of right now, which is this right here. There is truth to Sony exploring and considering reviving some of their older, unused IPs. So, given its consideration and exploration, there is always the route that they can go, which is simply like, hey, this actually isn't a great idea. Let's move on. Now, I have an argument for why I think it will end up happening that we'll break down a little bit. I wanted to also highlight what recently Sucker Punch said in an interview right before Ghost of Yotei's launch, talking about inFamous a bit. They were asked by Game Informer, would you be open to revisiting inFamous, maybe for a trilogy re-release or something like that? Nate Fox says, I would love to work on more inFamous. I would love to see a trilogy re-release, but Sucker Punch is a one game at a time shop, and right now we are very focused on finishing Ghost of Yotei. I always respected that they've been very open and honest about what they want to do with their IP. In fact, so open that they've talked about this in the past. July 2022, dug this one up from Video Game Charts. Sucker Punch says no inFamous or Sly Cooper games are in development. This was part of a blog post, which is also a big part of this story here. They said, as we approach 25 years since Sucker Punch first opened, we're proud to look back on the legacy of characters and stories we've created, from Rocket Robot on Wheels to Sly Cooper and inFamous, and most recently Ghost of Tsushima. As our games continue to grow in scale and complexity, they require the full attention of our studio. With our focus on our current project, we have no plans to revisit inFamous or Sly Cooper right now, and no other studio is currently working on projects related to those franchises either. These characters are very special and near and dear to our hearts, so we never say never to reopening those doors down the road. For now, there's no inFamous or Sly Cooper games in development, which that made me crash out that latter part. Because, inFamous, I can kind of live with that, but Sly, look, I feel greedy because we do have 4 Sly games. We got 3 inFamous games. Like, there is content there. What's interesting about this, though, is if you decide to go to that blog post, you'll learn that, as I move the display here, That page is not available, and you can see the link right up here. SuckerPunch.com, Infamous 2, UGC, maintenance and legacy franchise. Like, it's straight up gone. We can go ahead and go back to this here, new blog post. Again, just to show you all. Like, it doesn't work. So they could have gone back on their word here. What I think has happened based on a quick investigation is simply that I think they've kind of redone their website a bit. So normally they had a whole news section, but now if you click this drop-down bar here, you see games, team, jobs, support, privacy policy, terms of service, and this is how you stay updated on their games, all their social platforms. There isn't any sort of news blog any longer. So what may have happened is not them really going back on what they said in that post, but rather just, as you see here, getting rid of the news section entirely. So it removed that alongside probably dozens, if not hundreds of other posts there. So it's still a part of the conversation. We have no official comment from Sucker Punch on if that was intentionally removed or if it was just, again, by proxy of like removing the entire section of the website. Again, not entirely sure here. But what we have, kind of holistically speaking, is a rumored Infamous remake from Video Games Chronicle. Nate the Hate corroborating that PlayStation's investigating. You have Nate Fox, who's open to both a trilogy release and more Infamous in general. We do have the website post gone now. And then, last but certainly not least, even though it's currently said that, you know, Sucker Punch is maybe not involved in what's happening here with Infamous coming up, we still do have this news, which just broke this week, which is that Sucker Punch is already moving on from Ghost of Yotei. This was confirmed in a PlayStation blog post. They say the raid was our last major planned update for Legends. It finishes the story of Yotei 6 in that mode. We've loved seeing players playing it, continue to play it, and enjoy it. It's been great, said lead designer Darren Bridges. So this is the last planned one. It kind of leaves the door open, as Sucker Punch likes to do, to maybe come back to it at some point in time. Definitely a shorter lifespan than Legends for Tsushima, it feels like. But then moving on, again, are they moving on to a new Infamous game? Sly Cooper, another new IP. We saw Yotei get across the line on sales. It did very well, although there was a lot of conversation on if it did or did not, but it ended up doing pretty well, just in line with what we saw for Ghost of Tsushima. So I don't know if they're going to be making another Ghost game yet. I have not played Yotei, so I don't know if it wraps that whole, like, we're not doing anything else here. But I'm keen for whatever they're working on next. Now, for the fun part of the conversation here, I want to shout out the homie Real Radic. He runs a great YouTube channel, and a lot of the theories he had and kind of supporting evidence he had for why Infamous could be coming back and how there are changes in PlayStation I had never considered until I watched this video. So we'll have his video linked down below. Please check it out. He's an awesome dude and downright hilarious, by the way. Anyway, first thing I got to say, which this wasn't, I don't think was brought up in Radic's video, but look, if we're going to go straight up for like the Infamous remake, like we're not going to get an Infamous, we'll call it 4 right now. Why did this ever happen? Why did Blue Point Games have to get shut down if you were going to remake these games? You know, like there is their project right there. Why would you shut down your prolific remake studio if you were going to remake more classic IP and you bought the studio for that exact reason? I will never let that go. This is straight up the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I will never, ever let it go. Now, to what Radic brought forward, PlayStation's habits are changing a little bit here. One thing that really caught me off guard, potentially one of the most surprising announcements of all time, is this game right here. This, ladies and gentlemen, if they decide to progress the trailer, let's move ahead a little bit here. Yeah, this right here, Freedom Wars. Freedom Wars made a return. For those who don't know, this was a PS Vita exclusive video game. It was a Monster Hunter style game. You had to like fight for your freedom. You were imprisoned. You had like I think it was a 1,000,000-year prison sentence, and you had to whittle it down by completing missions. This game is awesome. They somehow remastered it with Bandai Namco. So Bandai got their hands on one of PlayStation's random Vita IP. Okay, Batty, whatever. But then here's another one. Patapon, 1+2 Replay, another Bandai re-release of old PlayStation IP. Really? Well, Maddie, that's just 2 games. Whatever. Okay. What about 3? Hot Shots Golf. There's another one. Okay, so 3 with Bandai. And these are older IP, lesser known IP, especially Freedom Wars. It's just fucking crazy to me. But you've got Hot Shots Golf, Freedom Wars, throw in Patapon. So is PlayStation looking to team up with other publishers who are willing to take the risk and make these games happen? Unfortunately, it seems like none of these games did light up the sales chart. But look, if you got that Elden Ring cash to blow, hell yeah, I want another Hot Shots Golf. Hell yeah, I want Patapon. And hell yeah, I want more Freedom Wars. So we're seeing PlayStation flirt a little bit with bringing back their legacy IP here through Bandai. This is not just one example, but in fact, in I think the last PlayStation State of Play, how about this game right here? Sons of Sparta. So they team up with another developer, what was it, Mad Cat Studio, I believe, to make a God of War game. And while there was a lot of debate if it's good or bad, certainly David Jaffe had a lot of thoughts on this one. Shout out Jaffe. Anyway, this was a God of War video game that was made by a team that's not Sony Santa Monica. Now, you can't really call it legacy, I guess, because God of War is very active. But you do see, again, PlayStation is teaming up to get more support on their IP. Fallout fans could only dream of something like this. And then, I guess, icing on the cake here, definitely the least exciting one, though. Ratchet & Clank Ranger Rumble. A mobile Ratchet & Clank video game. I could not even fathom touching this game. I've heard it's all right, but just, call me, elitist, whatever it may be. Fine. I just, there's a million Ratchet & Clank games that I either have played or want to go back and replay because I've not missed any of them. This does not look like the type of Ratchet & Clank I want to play. So what we see here are, if I can count, 5 different examples of PlayStation working with their IP in different places, some more legacy than others, like in the case of Bandai, more legacy. And then with God of War, a collaboration. With Ratchet & Clank, a collaboration, more of a mobile experimentation, but we're seeing a little bit, again, of that sort of collaborative nature here. And when you think about what they're doing now, and could inFamous be another one in that line? Sure. Again, if they're remaking it, I'm interested in that. At the same time, again, when you get rid of Blue Point, I feel like that takes some of the remakes off the table in that conversation. But do they continue inFamous' story with another team? Well, there's one good example I got for you on that one, and it's Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time. Here comes Sanzaru Games, unfortunately no longer around, but Sanzaru continued the story of Sly Cooper and then left it on a fucking awful cliffhanger. But they continued Sly's story from 3 into Thieves in Time. So it is possible they go that route, and I would not hate that personally, because I thought in the case of Sanzaru, there's debates on, how exactly good of a job Sanzaru did. I thought they did a stupendous job, though. I know there's one story choice in Thieves in Time that gets a lot of people upset, and I understand it. But I think overall they captured the spirit of Sly, the gameplay formula of Sly, the exploration, they expanded it, the mini games, the charming storytelling, voice acting, it's all there. I love Thieves in Time, personally. So we've seen Sony do this in the past. So anyway, I look at all this and I think they could hand off a continuation to someone else, or Sucker Punch themselves is going to do it. But it seems like at least Sucker Punch is interested in a trilogy re-release of some kind. And how far they want to take that, I mean, maybe some people's eyes have opened with the Oblivion remaster, where it's like, oh, you can kind of do the same game with a new coat of paint, and that can go a long way. I will say, though, as someone who went back to inFamous 1 at the end of last year, I talked about it in our PS3 retrospective on Retro Rebound, I do want to throw out there that game had really great artistic direction. The things that were interactable on its buildings, things that you could climb and use to scale the buildings, were very naturally built into its architecture. Nowadays, that would be painted yellow. And that is one of my fears, is that they would basically make what I'd call inFamous with guardrails. Because inFamous is such an amazing series, because I love the choices you make, the morality, and how, especially in 2, that influences your powers. So awesome, right? But the artistic direction is a little bit underappreciated because at the time that's what we knew. That was normal. But as things became a little bit more streamlined and accessible, things like yellow paint started to get splotched everywhere. And I feel like that would be a major miss for something like Infamous. So I hope they don't do that if they are remaking it. But nonetheless, I would love to see it come back. While I loved Infamous 1 and 2, I did platinum Infamous Second Son. I was less enthusiastic about that one. I think just the return of Cole would be the right decision in whatever way they want to do it. No offense to, was it Delson, I believe his name is. Just didn't feel the story as much. But the powers were cool. Like Neon was sick. So yeah, excited for a little bit more Infamous. All things considered, this was a very pleasant rumor to read. And Xbox, hey, if you're listening to Xbox, I mean, you want to talk about someone who's sitting on more legacy IP than you can count, especially with all the companies they've bought. Xbox, man, you could bring back some real special games. You could. The problem is Xbox has like too many IP at this point. Too many. Like it's almost impossible to support them all. But there are ones like Spyro, which is rumored. Crash. Of course, more Crash is always good. People want more Banjo-Kazooie. The hardcore gamers have spoken on that. More Banjo would be really good. Perfect Dark almost had its moment. That will never happen now because Xbox completely failed with that. Conker's Bad Fur Day. I mean, I'm looking at my classic Xbox shelf right now. Why not bring back Blinks the Time Sweeper? Why not bring back Death Row? Death Row was an amazing Xbox exclusive. Oh, my God. What else we got here? Nightcaster. Ninja Gaiden's already back, so they did do that with Ninja Gaiden 4. That was cool, too. That could be something that they could explore, both companies. Is kind of what happened with Ninja Gaiden 4, like these match made in heaven developer partnerships like Koei Tecmo working with Platinum Games. That was really cool. Voodoo Vince I'm looking at right now. Just a lot of great things. KOTOR, of course, KOTOR, but that's apparently still being worked on. Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. So many great Xbox exclusives. I feel like Mech Assault's another one. Yeah, just Fusion Frenzy, little party game. Just a lot of great stuff there. And that's just Xbox. So I feel like PlayStation could do the same. Xbox could do the same. I'm not against reaching back into the legacy libraries for a little bit here while companies figure this shit out. Take the easy wins with where AI's at and game development's at and costs are at and timelines are at. If you got to take the more easy, sure bet, I'm for it because I know there's still going to be indies and AAA on different levels that are taking some sort of chance. But if these platform holders want to just say like, hey, we're kind of reloading the chamber. Here are some old things that you like. In the meanwhile, it would remind me of the PlayStation 3 generation a bit. As they reloaded the chamber and got ready for the second half of the PS3 generation where they murdered it with the likes of The Last of Us Part 1. Before that, we were getting a lot of remasters. Here's your PS2 games, but shinier. Here's Ratchet & Clank remastered. Here's Sly Cooper remastered, all 3 games. Here's Jak and Daxter, all 3 games. Speaking of which, Jak and Daxter has to come back too. I mean, man, just so many great options. This is also why I missed the PSP. If you don't mind me rambling just a little bit longer here. The PSP, when I look at that library, you'd get things like, and I'm not saying these are great games, by the way, but you get things like Secret Agent Clank. You get things like Daxter, these cheaper mascot games that were spin-offs that had their own full stories. And like did anyone remember the Matrix mini games from Daxter? That was awesome. So just like Sony had a dedicated team for that stuff. I forgot the name of that team, but they were the ones making all of those. And I think they ended up making like the Lost Frontier for the Jak and Daxter series. And that was pretty bad, all things considered, but still, man, just, absolutely love that we're hearing they're maybe going back to legacy IP here. So we'll see where things end up, but definitely excited. But who knows? This could just disappear in a blink here because right now it seems like Jordan Midler doesn't have much to stand it up on. But definitely, if I can just put out my voice of support for it, I think it's worth talking about. Chat, I'd love to hear from you. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about Legend of Dragoon, but I'd love to hear from all of you on just kind of what games you'd like to see PlayStation, Xbox, hell, maybe Nintendo keeps their legacy IP afloat. What would you like to see come back? Resistance. Oh, man. That's a good one. Resistance is a good one. Alex Mercer, the prototype. I love this username, bro. Infamous 1 remake in Decima Engine would be fire. Yeah, I'd like that. But I mean, Desk Management seems to function well with like big sweeping landscapes from my read. Radic, I prefer between the two. I prefer Resistance. Killzone's great. I know it's deliberate, but Killzone feels like shit sometimes to control. I feel like I'd have to go back to Shadowfall. I haven't played Shadowfall since its launch, but I'd have to go back to Shadowfall where it's like modern controller and modern design. I say that because like the PS3 shooters, like with the frame rate and everything, not the best feeling. So I'd like to try Shadowfall again, but Resistance, I just like its universe more, like 1950s post-apocalyptic. The weapons are sick. It's got this like alternate history approach. It's just awesome. The setting is great. Like they did such a good job with it. Someone mentioned The Getaway. Oh, hell yeah. I love that. I also feel people are more receptive to horror. Like horror's had a real renaissance. And I feel like Resistance, like, let me bring up the cover art for Resistance 1. Hang on. Resistance, Fall of Man. Oh, I forgot Google puts it on the... Hold on. How can I do this? Okay, here. I'll do it like this. Like, look at this here. Hang on. I'm just going to, like, edit the fuck out of this. Like, look at that. You see how like it's got the skull and like it's like desolate, it's bleak, like oh here, this is actually a better look at it. Like dude, that would be, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if they pushed horror here, like that screams horror to me. So I feel like the public's more receptive to that. Where personally I would really let me undo all this real quick. I'd personally really like for them to go back to that essence as well. Mercenaries, hands down. Good call out there. Mercenaries is a great series. I miss Pandemic so much. Yeah, I'm glad you guys pointed out Resistance. That'd be a great one to bring back. Such a good series. Resistance 3 was... What was Resistance 3's cover art? Oh, yeah, it was like very illustrated. What's Resistance 2 then? I don't like Resistance 2s. Let me see if I can bring this up for you guys. Yeah, hang on. I don't like Resistance 2 as a cover. Like, look at that. It's just so, I don't know. Like every single shooter from this era. I like the background. But the dude up front, I don't know. I don't know. Not doing it for me. Resistance 1 had the best cover, though, as far as I'm concerned. You're gonna buy that 5K Star Citizen JPEG ship, Maddie. It's so funny. I hear about that game all the fucking time, and I know next to nothing about it because it's just like... I think a decade-long story or something like that. I just can't be bothered. Oh, it's thundering. Shit. I should hurry up on the next slop. I don't want to... I don't want my power to go out. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. But hey, little Skyrim music on, a little cozy thunderstorm. Dude, fuck my shit up. Let's go. The Fear cover art's a good one. Like that call out, Large Hog. That's a good one. I'm just getting Emmett the Matty Slot video here, so apologies if I don't respond to chat for just a minute. Little Big Planet. That's a series I don't have much experience with. I see Columbian Thunder saying, imagine Little Big Planet level creation with current tech, man. I mean, I guess they tried to elevate that with Dreams, but people seem to really gravitate to Little Big Planet, especially Little Big Planet 2. I think that game was massively successful. I think it scored really high as well. All right, let me get this video off to Emmett here. Got that sent off to him. Oh, it is like fucking pouring. Yeah, if my stream gets killed, y'all know why. Just as a heads up. I love the rain, dude. I really do. Nothing makes me happier. Nothing puts me in a better mood. It's so funny, too, because I woke up in like a really good spot today, and I didn't know it was going to rain. But then it's pouring down. I'm like, oh, it makes sense. Anytime I wake up feeling really great, it's because it's about to rain or it has rained, but I never put it together until it's actually raining, you know? So, shout out to the rain. Did I miss your super chat, Synth? Sorry about that. Hang on, let me grab it. I apologize. I did. Oh, I missed Ariamer as well. Ariamer, thank you for your super chat saying another Maddie stream. Let's go. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. AR89 Synth says, Final Fantasy 13 games are very underrated. You bet your ass, dude. Where are these games? Get them off my shelf right now. Right here, dude. Right here. Yes. Mwah, mwah, mwah. So good. Sorry I missed your super chat. Especially as a Final Fantasy 13 supporter. You deserve better than that. Thank you guys for the super chats, though, and just supporting the streams. Super helpful. Super appreciated. Dude, my fucking hamstring is like killing me right now. Like, it's just, I got to stretch again. The problem with rain is that it always happens when I have grass touching plants. I never need to touch the grass. I touch the grass for like an hour a day and then I'm good. I'm like, all right, I'm going back inside. I was built for the indoors. Oh, Josh, this is really nice of you, man. This is to support Maddie. Keep up the good work and blessings to you and your wife, brother. Thank you, dude. Thank you. That's really nice of you. I super appreciate that. I know my wife does, too. If Exodus does amazing, what do you think that would mean for BioWare and Mass Effect? Oh, dude, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I'll put it this way. Let's think about it from this angle. Mass Effect 5 is peak. Which by the way, I'm asking you to enjoy a thought exercise. I know it's going to invite a whole lot of like, no fucking chance, no shot that happens. Sure. But the reason I bring this up is because if Mass Effect 5 is great, I do think it takes the crown jewel. Mass Effect just got the built-in name brand recognition, the remasters there, the adoration, the characters, the desire for a comeback. So if Exodus is great, which is no doubt going to release before Mass Effect 5, I don't think that hurts BioWare. Because if BioWare does great, then they will take the crown jewel home. Now, if BioWare does less than or is worse than their competitors, yeah, it's going to be compared endlessly, and that would be bad for them. But I don't think it's going to hurt their trajectory now. But as for release, yeah, I mean, it kind of benefits BioWare. These two are going to eat each other up at the top of next year. BioWare will come after, and they have at least some time to look at their contemporaries, see what they're doing, and if there's any adjustments they need to make based on that feedback. It's not a layup by any means. They have a lot of hard work to do, and certainly their writing department has all the pressure in the world. But that said, you know, they do have the data there. They can at least make some adjustments based on like, oh, they don't like this or they don't like that. Or they love this. We don't have that. Should we? But I think the best thing of all that they can be is certain in themselves, you know? Actually, I take that back. They were certain about themselves with Veilguard. At least a lot of them were. When I talked to Mark Dara for an interview, it seemed like he kind of got the idea like, yeah. So... I'm hoping BioWare pulls it out, man. I mean, they're my childhood. I know people hate them now. I get it. I am very disappointed in what they have become. But until those doors shut, I am going to continue to hope that they succeed. Oh, they took down Max Payne 1 on Steam because they're remaking it? Really? No way. Max Payne, Steam. Not seeing anything come up. Is this like very recent? Is it game of the year automatically GTA 6? Not that I agree, but realistically, yeah, probably. The most gangster thing Rockstar can do is win game of the year, and because they're just never seemingly involved in the Game Awards or anything like that, it's just like, just don't show up. That'd be the craziest shit. Alex Mercer again, thank you. What I would love to see them bring back is Sunset Overdrive. That alongside Prototype and Infamous are my favorite games of all time. And Web of Shadows too. Okay, I know what type of gamer you are now, for damn sure. I know what type of gamer you are for... Maybe Sunset Overdrive is like the X Factor. Like, it's a little bit of the outlier. But Prototype, Infamous, and Web of Shadows. You like edgy games, dog. I don't know if anyone told you this, but you like edgy-ass games. And I love that for you because I'm the same way. I need edge in my games. And you just... That is so funny. Those lists of favorite games of all time. Infamous, you know, Alex Mercer with the hood up. Cole McGrath's edgy too, and then Web of Shadows with like the very moody Spider-Man walk to open the game. That's amazing. They region locked Max Payne 1, not delisted. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for clarifying that. That's good to know. Certainly, because if it was delisted, I'd be like, okay, well, we got a delisting there. Lego 2K Drive is getting delisted for some reason. I thought that was strange. Spartan Total War. Oh, damn. Do I have Total Warrior? I don't think I do. Why does that ring a bell, though? Yeah, I remember this cover art. Oh, my God. Classic. I saw this shit at Blockbuster all the time. Oh, man, that was so underwhelming. It already stopped. It's not even dark out anymore. Dude, that rain's corny. They totally baited me with that. I was just in such a good moment, a good mood there. Now it's gone. Now I'm mad. I bought an Xbox for Sunset Overdrive. Interesting, Parker. Yeah, that game kicks ass. If you like Spider-Man and its movement systems, I mean, that's where it all began. It's all right there. Thank you, Light Tech. Yeah, the chat helped me decide on that a couple of streams ago. Yeah, I'm glad everyone likes the Skyrim music. I do too. It kind of... I wanted something, again, relaxing. Because I went with something more, what was it, like lo-fi, and people were like, yeah, it's good, but Skyrim? I was like, of course. How could I not? I would love to see Sony bring Resistance and SOCOM back. Yes, SOCOM had an unfortunate death because I don't think SOCOM 4 was good at all, but it launched right as like PSN was going down, and a lot of the focus for that game was its online multiplayer, which no one could access, so that just kind of killed the studio. Resistance, though, as you know, I agree with that. Rondo Celtics. I think I know your favorite player. Maddie, big fan. You're my favorite gaming YouTuber because you love SMT. Can't wait for SMT 6. My height level is GTA / Elder Scrolls / Persona like for that. Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. I mean, like, SMT 5 was amazing. I mean, as a Persona fan, I like how they kind of borrowed some visual elements from Persona without giving into, like, its difficulty. You sound like a masochist, though, because, like, favorite series, like GTA hype for that is crazy, not because it's bad, but because those series, like, the older they get, I mean, I played SMT4, like, just, like, it's a one series. I'm not afraid to say it. I play it on easy, dude. They kick the living shit out of you in SMT. And sometimes it's in, like, these jokey ways that I'm not crazy about. But yeah, dude, I mean, I do love SMT. I've been playing, I started on my DS Devil Survivor. I think it's Devil Survivor, Overclocked. It's the one where like your menu is like a flip phone. I just love that little choice there. But that one's been good so far too. So I want to play some more SMT. I'm very much inexperienced, all things considered, but happy to have you here. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for supporting the stream. Thoughts about PS Plus price raise? Oh, okay. Let's talk about it. I personally, it's like two things. Like $1, I'm not going to lose my head about. It's their reasoning, right? They could have said anything else, but they said market conditions. I'm like, what? What? I know it's more of like a broad economy thing, but when it's like $1 or $3, I'm like, okay, like, yeah, I'm not going to kick and scream. But when you say market conditions, I'm like, online multiplayer should just be free. Like, there's no reason why consoles and the players of consoles should be charged, I should say, for trying to play online. Like, it's just stupid. So the price hike I have like less issues with in the terms of what the price ends up being. It's not like Xbox where I'm like, whoa. But it just feels like they're inching it up because they go, look at the spreadsheet. They go, it's a little extra money there. $1? 3 tops for 3 months? Oh, dude, do it. Yeah, why not? So it's whack. I wish SMT4 wasn't locked to DS, not going to lie. Yeah, SMT4 is that and Apocalypse are completely trapped there. I mean, most of the SMT series, I feel, is like it found its home on the DS because I have Strange Journey Redux. I have Devil Survivor Overclocked there. Ton of SMT games there. That's the one thing I've been yearning for. My heart's been yearning for a JRPG. I've been going between SMT and Xenoblade. I feel like Xenoblade would be very interesting. Because Xenoblade, I mean, just Gene Park hypes it up so much. But anyone who plays the first Xenoblade games is always like, yep, it's one of gaming's best stories. Just always comes out that way. So I gotta check it out. This is the worst when it comes to re-releasing games. It's so funny, right? Because those are games that would benefit from the re-releases, but instead they focus on re-releasing like the same package with like minimal new content. I shouldn't say minimal. You know, games like Persona 4 Golden and 5 Royal, some of my favorite games ever. Especially in the case of 5 Royal, I think it makes 5 infinitely better. So I shouldn't hate on them too much, but they got carried away. Have I played Trails in the Sky? Relster, do you know where you are? Of course I have. I played every Trails game except Horizon. Sony won't listen because they already have my money by getting X-Men as exclusives, but in a Just World Wild Arms would have been back ages ago. It's so funny, like the difference here, like Wild Arms, X-Men with Wolverine. Like, yeah, I understand the why Sony's going the direction they do. Wild Arms being as popular as Wolverine is a hilarious thought, though. Does paying for online equal less cheaters? I don't think so. People still like... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I doubt it. But I really don't know what you're technically paying for with all of this. Good question, though. But I don't think it would make much of a difference. You know, these games, as soon as their servers are abandoned, you know, they end up getting hacked anyway. Think of like old Call of Duty. You know, if you try to fire up a game of World at War, like people are literally like flying in the sky, one-shotting you. I don't think it makes a huge difference, to tell you the truth, Dante. Bruh moment, Wolverine won't be on PC. Especially with today's news, it won't be on PC. With all the recent mid and often poor choices of Bethesda, how confident are you on Elder Scrolls 6 to be great? It's a coin toss now. That's the stage I'm at. Certainly anything I've seen with Starfield has pushed me the other way. 76 I don't love, but at least I give it the grace of like, you are a online video game. It's really Fallout 4 I look at the most, and the choices that are made there, and how Starfield has been absorbing everything from 4 and 76 over time. You know, especially with like X-Tech and whatnot, like that's a complete 76 gameplay loop. And if that's what's in Elder Scrolls 6, I think Bethesda kind of, from my point of view, the biggest point of concern I have is beyond the obvious shit. It's that I think Bethesda lost the understanding of what makes their games very fun to play. And they think endless content is what's fun to play. And so all of their systems are built around endless play. And I worry that because Elder Scrolls 6 has been such a long wait, that their whole focus has been give them X, Y, and Z because we made them wait so long, this will hold them over. And I don't think they understand that that's not what was fun. The reason I have hundreds of hours, probably if I include my 360 save file, thousands of hours in Skyrim, is because I kept replaying it. Kept starting over on the map. And the map ended at a certain point, and then I rolled a new character. That's what was fun. They are calling it Classic Bethesda. That's the first encouraging thing I heard, though. But it's tough to have a world of confidence. You know, it's sad to say, but it's tough to have a world of confidence. So I give it a coin toss. Yeah, that's a perfectly way to put it, Volcom. It says Elder Scrolls 6 has more pressure to be great than GTA 6, to be honest. And I think so. I mean, Rockstar, there's a confidence, so I think there's less pressure from its fans right now. It's just like, deliver when you want. We just know it's going to be great. With Bethesda, it's like they've made everything has gone wrong. You know, they've made bad design decisions, starting with Fallout 4. They did online games. They've done questionable partnerships like DLSS 5. They've shipped their worst products in something like Starfield Shattered Space. Starfield, on a technical level, resembles everything wrong with Bethesda games that people have been complaining about for years, and then it puts it all in like one centralized package now. So it's just all gone south for them, from my point of view. Some of it's like, when I say coincidental, I mean like, oops, this just happened to have happened, but I mean like, the way it's all rolled out, beat after beat, I'm sure they didn't anticipate that it would be this bad, but the pressure's high. The pressure is high. And so, yeah, they've got to deliver because it is going to be on that GTA 6 level of like, everyone will be there for Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah, I mean, because Nerf Ninja said GTA 6 is almost too big to fail. I'm guessing you're thinking from like a financial angle, if I'm reading it right. And I'll just say, like, on that note, like, you know, both these games will not fail financially. They will both do extremely well. No doubt about it in my mind. But, you know, when it comes to Elder Scrolls 6, the quality level has to be like, it has to be a major upgrade in almost every department, I think. My question is when they're going to start showing it. I have both a really good idea of it based on like predictions I've made in the past that have been correct. I also have predictions just on like, even if it's further away, they should show it soon because people keep annoying them about it. So I could also go the length of saying it'll just be years from now. I don't know. They're certainly taking their time because they know it's going to be a generational game, and I imagine they want to at least wait until after GTA 6. Nerdy Giant, thank you for your $10 super chat, dude. Really appreciate it. Did you play Adventures of Elliot demo? I loved it, honestly. Might be a purchase for me if everything comes together. Sleeper hit incoming. Oh, dude, anything HD2D I usually look into and typically review. Adventures of Elliot is like, I mean, it looks amazing. It looks, if Octopath is like their old school Final Fantasy, this looks like their old school Zelda. I usually, when they do this with their demos, like they're doing it a month in advance, usually the week before or so is when I dive into the demo because it times out well where I kind of chip through it, and then that sets me up for carrying my save file over where there's not a huge breakup between, you know, when I start and then when I return to it. How long is the demo? Do you mind sharing with me in chat? Because I would love to know. Usually they go for like 3 hours, but it looks really good. I can't wait. Any HD2D games have my full support. Alex Mercer again. Thank you, dude. One more for support. Been watching you and your Retro Rebound vids for a while with others like Mapping Muscles, Mind Pulp, Reforge, and more at work. Thank you, dude. Well, that's awesome. I mean, great company to be in here. So just thank you. Mind Pulp is hilarious. If I'm thinking of the right channel, right? They do the... they're like the two guys who do Let's Plays together, if I remember correctly. What is it? Mind Pulp. Let me make sure I got it right. Yep. Okay. So yeah, these guys are hilarious. Yeah. So great company to be in. Thanks for watching, though. I really appreciate it. Dan V, thank you for your generous super chat as well. You guys have been super awesome today. With Lego Batman out now, do you plan on replaying Lego Marvel soon? That's still my favorite Lego game. I haven't played Legacy of the Dark Knight yet, but I'm so excited your review got me more hyped. Well, I'm glad to hear that because I've been playing more Lego Batman. I've been still loving it. I think it's excellent. Lego Marvel, it's interesting because I have so many Lego games on my shelf and I have a yearning to just go into so many of them. I think it depends how I feel after Lego Batman because right now I'm in the mindset of like, I think I'm at like 35% total completion is what I saw when I signed up. Don't quote me on that. But that's without like really touching a ton of the open world stuff. So I want to know how hard the 100% completion is going to be for Lego Batman compared to like Skywalker Saga, which was like, there's so much there. It's so fucking much, dude. So I want to know that because sometimes the Lego 100% can really burn you out. But I'm feeling I want to go for it with Lego Batman. So we'll see. But Lego Marvel Superheroes, I got most of the achievements on my Xbox One when I played it. I fucking love that game. I remember my mom got it me for Christmas, and I played it during my holiday break, and just, oh God, I love that game so much. Completely delivered. Completely delivered. They did such a good job with it, dude. Like, after all the years of waiting for a Lego Marvel game, right? We always thought it was impossible for them to show up and deliver on that level. Incredible game. And then Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 was also great fun. I really liked that. I could just go back and play a ton of Lego games for a while. I've also been yearning just going back to Complete Saga, playing that too. Lego games are awesome, dude. I hope you enjoyed Lego Batman when you play it. I think it's really special. I'm also insanely hyped for Photor like you. Can't wait. There we go. Speaking my language now. Can't wait either. Shout out to Casey Hudson. Ice Cap Lord, thank you for your super chat as well. Hamaguchi and Yoshi P have pointed out Final Fantasy's inability to reach Gen Alpha, disregarding the pace of mainline. I'm stunned they missed so many obvious growth points like film, animation, non-mobile spin-offs. You took the answer right from me, bro. This is literally, I read this thing and they're like, we're trying to figure out how to hit them. I'm like, you guys, number one, have not made Final Fantasy a consistent thing. And by that, I don't mean the genre type. Like, but Final Fantasy, for example, it moved into an action place, but like, it kind of started with 13. But 13, with its paradigm shifts, was still a form of turn-based. It was really building off of the ideas and the systems of 12. They kind of just broke that chain with 15. 15's I fucking love 15. But I think there's a couple things they need to do to reach that growth point. Final Fantasy needs to have a release on all platforms at once. I don't think they'll get the exact results they're looking for with Final Fantasy Remake 7 Remake Part 3, because it is Part 3 of the adventure, and they just started catching up other platforms like Xbox and Switch in the meanwhile. So I think it's going to do really well, but I don't know if it's going to do, like, if Final Fantasy 17 was on PlayStation, Switch 2, Xbox, PC, I think that's something they're missing. Film and animation's another thing. Spin-offs, like actual interesting, like Crisis Core spin-offs, you know, like not here's Dissidia, Final Fantasy NT, like, or Strange of Paradise I love, but a Souls-like thing would probably do really well nowadays. You could do that again. But I think like more experiments like that. They just do these weird mobile games like, what is it, Brave Exodia or something, Brave Exodus, I forgot what it's called. Like, just their ability to connect with that generation. They're missing the obvious shit. And yeah, I think getting away from exclusivity will help them a lot too. I think also just leaning into the they're losing old fans too, because like I still firmly stand on my square that turning Final Fantasy into Devil May Cry was a terrible choice. I think it was a terrible choice trying to appeal to the masses. And while I know people really love 16, so I'm not dogging on you, you look at Expedition, which has sold 8 million copies in a single year, and that is pretty much in line, if not better than 16 to my understanding. I have to double check that. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. I don't know 16 sales off the top of my head because it's always been a confusing fucking situation there. But, you know, you look at Expedition's success with all the old school Final Fantasy ideas in mind. Square should just go back to turn-based. That the hardcore gamers will make so much noise for that. What these companies aren't understanding is that, yeah, you want to capture the masses like Baldur's Gate 3. But to do that, what did Larian do? They captured the core base and gave them what they wanted, and then obvious technical enhancements. Here is the Divinity combat system, basically, like the same level of interactivity and elements, all that stuff, the difficulty. Here are the choices and consequences, all the things you know from Divinity. But here's better presentation for the cutscenes. Makes all the difference. And now the masses want to get in on what everyone's talking about. Yeah, Final Fantasy pisses me off, bro. They could be doing so much better. They need to ditch the number. Ditching the number is one of their toughest decisions. BG3 appealed to the horniest. Yeah, I mean, it did that too. Don't get me wrong. Let's see here. Final Fantasy 16 sales. Okay, as of 2023, Square Enix on their press site said that Final Fantasy 16, 3 million players have journeyed. So that was sales. There isn't like a clear... Someone could let me know in chat. I've always found these sales for 16 to be... let's see here. Statista has lifetime units. Yeah, that doesn't give us much, though. The series is top 207 million units, which is like the dream. That's crazy. They also need to speed up the remakes. Like, 7 seems to be trucking along fine, but, like, you should be remaking every Final Fantasy game. Obviously 10. But, like, remake 8 for the fun. Remake 9. They should... Oh, you know what they should also do? They should have one of their HD 2D teams remaking some of the classic Final Fantasies in that way. I think that would bring a lot of attention. That's like they're sitting on a gold mine with that. I don't know why they haven't done that yet. In fact, I thought that's what Octopath was made for, was to test out basically bringing Final Fantasy in, you know, in its retro style into the modern era. They haven't done that either. Northform S, is Starfield or Tainted Grail worth it on PS5? I've been wanting to play some games like the Elder Scrolls, but don't want to replay Oblivion or Skyrim right now. I would say yes to Tainted Grail, but on PlayStation, Tainted Grail is really bad. I would stay away from that. Starfield is not going to scratch that Bethesda Game Studios itch. A game I would recommend, it's not fantasy, but a game I would recommend that has a little bit of that Bethesda itch scratching, I would throw in Atomfall. Of course, I'd also throw in Kingdom Come Deliverance too if you haven't played that either. Those two come to mind pretty immediately. Atomfall is very short, like under 15-hour storyline. Little replayability. Really cool kind of investigative problem-solving style of gameplay. Meanwhile, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is Skyrim for masochists with great choice and consequence and an amazing story. So, pick your poison there. Both awesome options. Depends what you're into. You know, Atomfall is definitely, like, very Fallout inspired. You think they will mention Revan or the Exile and Photor? They better. Ariammer, they better. If they don't, I'm going to lose it. Man, it's fucking sunny out now. What the hell's going on? Why has the rain got to be doing me like this? Oh, Bra Moment shouted out Kingdoms of Amalur. That's a good one as well. Yeah, all good picks. There's a lot of Bethesda likes. There have been a lot of Bethesda likes in the last year. I'm really excited for Ardenfell. I don't know, has that game got any updates yet? Or Ardenfall. I always say fell. Yeah, nothing yet. What a shame. It's in early access, or it's coming soon to early access. It's not even doing a full release yet. It's planning to come out this year, but early access always takes the wind out of my sails. Carmine, I agree. He says, another thing rubbing me wrong with BGS is the retroactive reframing of design intent. They promised to be classic BGS experience to cleanse the bitter taste of 76, and now it's a cozy game. Yep. I called them out on that immediately. I was like, they cannot reframe it as a cozy game now. Especially because Starfield, 76, Fallout 4 are builders. They don't have cozy game elements where you can like indulge in the simulation you've created. Now, if 6 wants to carry it in that direction, I think that would be a natural, interesting evolution of the formula. But Starfield should have been the one to do it. It's also my take. But if they want to start letting you like eat and drink and sleep and actually playing with the things that you set up in your camp and they're not just decorations. Cool. I'm unfortunately out of orange juice. I'm very upset. Let's get this next slop going. Chat, shall we? Right now we're going to talk about PlayStation going all in on exclusives again. Because they stepped away. Kind of, sort of. So let's do this thing. We can spam the meat emoji in chat. Let's do this, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, PlayStation is doing it again. We're back to exclusivity, and some old talking points are starting to resurrect. So this story first started to crack on thanks to Bloomberg, where IGN has the re-report here. A new report has revealed that both Ghost of Yotei and Saros will remain exclusive to PlayStation 5 as Sony begins to pull back from PC. Bloomberg said that while Sony will continue to release online games on PC, single-player games will now remain console exclusive, making a significant strategy shift. Now, the big thing with PlayStation moving over to PC is that they were basically trying to have their cake and eat it too. They were releasing first to the PlayStation 5 community, the PlayStation 4 community. They're like, here's your game. You get this for... There was never really a certain timetable for it, especially when you threw in PS Plus into that mix. Like, they experimented a bit with bringing, like, Horizon Forbidden West into PS Plus a little bit after its launch, and that completely tanked the game's sales. So they learned a bit with that. So they tried to double dip with PC. They're like, hey, we've had these games for a long while, like Spider-Man, like Days Gone, and so on. Bring them over to PC. And at first with games like Horizon Zero Dawn, I think the novelty led to some really strong sales. But as we saw with the numbers as time went on, those sales fell off pretty dramatically. And PlayStation learned that PC players are very patient. Well, now we have more information thanks to Jason Schreier of Bloomberg, who says that Sony has pulled back from games on PC. Again, this was the March report here because he followed up on it, and he said that PlayStation business CEO Herman Hulst told staff in a town hall Monday morning meeting that the company's narrative single-player games will now be PlayStation exclusive, confirming Bloomberg's reporting from earlier this year, which is significant here. So the move is on. You can approach it as such. Jason Schreier has always been very, very much strong with his reporting, where we can look at that and believe, okay, PlayStation's back to exclusivity. What exactly does that mean? Well, you can look at something like Saros to get a feeling of like how things can go in sort of the wrong direction, and why PlayStation's recent moves to more classic IP might be incentivized, and how this is all part of a broader strategy shift. This is courtesy of Alinea Analytics, which, by the way, I want to clarify because I get some questions about this from time to time. I don't present these sales metrics that they put up here, like Saros selling 300K, which we'll talk about in a moment. I don't bring this all up as sort of a way to say these are the exact sales. The idea is that these are estimates, and usually very accurate estimates. And until the industry decides to start providing better information for consumers to work off of and stop hiding it, we're going to have to lean into estimates that seem to be at least somewhat close to the mark to have a more educated conversation. If Sony or Xbox or anyone ever wishes to clear it up, certainly I'll be first in line, because all I've ever asked for in this industry is just report the sales figures. You know, it doesn't always have to be an amazing success. It was really nice, for example, when Veilguard came out, to know this did flop, right? 1.5 billion sales. Like, it did flop compared to what it was expected to do by EA, which was 3 million. So I wish more companies were more truthful with that, but I wanted to make sure that was clear as we press on with Saros. So Saros sells 300K in its first 2 weeks here. Let's dig into it a little bit here. This is the image provided by Reese Elliott, where he shows that the copies, of course, have only sold on PlayStation. It's its only platform, to the sum of $22 million in gross revenue. 100K of those copies were sold in advance, so only 200K in response to what were really strong reviews. And it says that the players also played, of course, Returnal, but then you think of the overlap with broader PlayStation exclusives like Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, and you see here the overlap kind of shrinks down more and more. So you look at something like this and you're like, well, that's as they put it here perfectly, a lukewarm start. Given they're going to exclusivity, this is a perfect time to look at stuff like this and have a real conversation about it. What is gained and what is lost? Well, in the case of Saros specifically, I think there's a few factors that aren't being considered in the broader conversation. These games do cost a lot of money to make, these kind of third-person over-the-shoulder games that Sony likes to publish. At the same time, economy's not in a great spot where customers are very picky, and there's a lot of good options, especially in 2026. It has been a very competitive year, in my opinion, a very fun year for video games. And so I'm looking at my list here. Here's a litany of appealing games that have come out since February. Resident Evil Requiem, Pragmata, Crimson Desert, Pokemon Pocopia, Mouse PI, Lego Batman just released, and 007's coming up next, and that looks pretty good. People plan their purchases. Saros is in the mix. Returnal did pretty well for PlayStation, did pretty well, especially for Housemarque. It was no doubt their biggest game yet. But you look at all of that, and then you look at the games surrounding it, and it's become a time economy as well. You know, money is extremely limited by nature of where our world is at right now, but time is also exceptionally limited. And so everything I listed here, I've tried my best to play, and I do this for a full-time job, and it's tough to keep up with. So things like Saros, I decided months ago, because I haven't even played Returnal. I was like, Saros is out for me, at least, you know? Meanwhile, a better example of something that did well for PlayStation was Ghost of Yotei, which sold 3+ million units. So more established franchises are finding sales here. With that said, again, I think more known IP will continue to do well for PlayStation, which is why I think they are going to be going back to those, like with the rumor that popped up with inFamous coming back. Even if it's not inFamous, I think they're going to start to resurrect these IP and remake and remaster them, because I think familiarity is a key selling point as well. New IP are being embraced if the indie genre has been anything to go by. But also, I think that people kind of miss the old days. And right now, while the industry figures its shit out, it's like, yeah, bring back some of the old stuff. Bring back Sly Cooper. Bring a Jack and Daxter. Make games that appeal to a younger audience. You know, I think those games, the beauty of a Sly Cooper or a Jack and Daxter or a Ratchet and Clank is that they were fun for adults. Some of them, in the case of like Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, had some really kind of adult themes in their story, but they were also easy to interpret as a kid. If you're trying to target that newer generation, that's a good line to walk. When you look at how well the Lego games do, when you look at how good Mario does, I think targeting those kind of mascot IP could be a good idea. So I think they could go a bit safer with known IP, and this is what can help them grow their console, because what PlayStation has seen here clearly is that, okay, PC gamers are waiting us out. The sales that we're making on PC isn't enough to stay over there because it's hurting our box. You look no further than Xbox to see what happens to your box when you go multi-platform. Xbox goes multi-platform. They start selling a lot of games. Forza Horizon 5 being the best example of like 5+ million units or something like that. Just absolutely insane sales there. But otherwise, Xbox had some hit or miss issues. Like Grounded did really well. Outer Worlds 2 did not at all. Starfield has been crawling its way, which I thought, even though I'm not a huge fan of Starfield, I was a little bit surprised by that one. I thought Starfield was going to do way better. So you've seen Xbox is now in this situation where their fans are clamoring for exclusives to come back because they want value for the box. It's about identity. And so PlayStation flirted, and they are quickly retracting before there's any full commitment. So this has left PC gamers, which is the fastest growing market right now, high and dry. It's a lot more of a risky bet than I think it's initially said to be. Like, the console players are there, but also we've seen console isn't growing as aggressively. Right now, Capcom has just shared that their best-selling platform has become PC, which is crazy when you think about where they started and what they were focused on and where people knew their games most for, and how like PC ports of old Capcom games were never really that great, but now it's their best platform. So like the hardcore gamer is here to support Capcom, and they've found their home on PC. And also, to be fair, PlayStation never really did whole day and date stuff. They always did the delayed release. So they kind of, again, tried to have their cake and eat it too. And they're clearly putting their bets on their console to do the heavy lifting for them. When it comes to other sales metrics and getting an idea of things, I wanted to bring up what I think here is like a not so great take. This comes from Polygon saying PlayStation adding player counts for PS5 games doesn't help anyone. Basically, it was first spotted by Mystic on YouTube and then reported by Destructoid. But PlayStation is beta testing what is called community activity as a widget for the Welcome Hub, and players can now choose the top 10 on this widget to see the most popular games ranked by player count. Meanwhile, the Trending Now option will show other games that are surging in popularity, whether that be because of an increase in gameplay hours or the number of matches played. This article proceeds to say that this is going to basically be weaponized. And I always say this, like, if people don't want this to be the case, if they don't want this type of data to be used in conversations, then have the company start providing it themselves. So if PlayStation's putting up the walled garden and their games are not going day and date to PS Plus, we're probably going to have, for major PlayStation exclusives, better sales data than we've had before. When Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet comes out, when everyone's screeching flop, flop, no doubt if the reception of the game thus far has been anything to go by, it's a Naughty Dog game. This shit'll trend. This shit'll crack top 10, no doubt about it. And we'll get to actually see where it lands in the top 10. Until the industry starts providing those hard sales numbers, though, player counts are going to be utilized heavily because it's the only data the public has actual access to. But again, this will be a good thing to track as PlayStation ventures into this more and more, because now you look at something like Wolverine when it comes out, and whatever that player count is, you have to roll with that, because it's not, here's what they're starting with, and we'll see how it does on PC. It's just that. It's just PlayStation. And so it makes me wonder of how they're going to expand their hardware library a bit to appeal to different gamers. Are they going to straight up consoles? Because consoles are getting more expensive. Hardware is getting more expensive. PlayStation just hiked the prices. And no doubt the PS6 is going to be pretty pricey. There aren't any heroes right now in this AI data center race where all the parts are being gobbled up and sold for a premium, and so it's affecting the common consumer. So is PlayStation going to look at things like the Portal as a bit of a boon? Are they going to look at things like more, I would say, dedicated handhelds that aren't streaming devices as a way of growing? Like, what are they looking at to grow the hardware base? Are they going to continue to lean on the hardcore, on the generational success? They do have an Apple-like quality to them where once you're in that ecosystem, you're in there forevermore. And they likely have some data backing this up internally where they're seeing that just the people who have stuck with them from PS3 and on, when the PSN was first created, have continued to support them through and through. And that if they just continue to nurture that base, that their success, much like Nintendo, will remain generational. And again, you have to look no further than Nintendo themselves to see that you can keep up your walled garden and have millions and millions of sales, and that the sky is the limit for PlayStation there. While that's all happening, though, again, I talked about how this is part of a broader strategy shift for them. We see here that they are upping the price of PS Plus. They say starting May 20th, PlayStation Plus prices for new customers will increase in select regions. Due to ongoing market conditions, prices will start at $10.99 for 1 month subscription and $27.99 for 3 month subscriptions. The price change does not apply to current subscribers except in Turkey and India unless the existing subscription changes or lapses. And yeah, it's really whack, but they're clearly reorganizing and restructuring their business to get maximum money out of the existing player base. So for those who were hoping for things like PS Plus to start offering you free online play, they need you to need that. I think the customer is getting smarter and they'll just start to walk away from this stuff, personally. But right now, they're placing their bets on, you need this to play online. To enjoy games online, you need to have PS Plus. They want that $11 a month from you. Or, what, $27.99 a month? They want that from you. I'm sorry, I said $27.99 a month. $27.99 per 3 months. They want you to buy into their subscription service. They need that recurrent revenue. That plus the PS Plus library. They're leaning into all of that and hoping you'll pay for it. And they're doing this while the homie Radic also pointed this out. I've been talking about him a lot with all of our PlayStation coverage lately, it seems. But he pointed out that we don't even get more than a classic game a month on that service. And it's they got to give us a little bit more there. But they're trying to give us less and earn more. And that's why they're doubling down on things like the accessory ecosystem surrounding PlayStation. And so this is all part of, again, that broader shift. I'm wishing them the best of luck, and now all the pressure is on Xbox. I said this when the news broke that, okay, they're going for it. They're back to exclusives again through and through for single-player games. The pressure's on Asha Sharma. What are you going to do for Xbox? Because everyone's going to look, at least in the hardcore gaming community, at PlayStation doing this with their single-player titles, which create value around the box, and they're keeping multiplayer games multi-platform. And why wouldn't they? You look at things like Helldivers 2. Its main platform is Steam. You look at things like Marathon, even though it has not lit the world on fire, this game went from I don't want to call it a flop. It went from it needs more just based on where PlayStation standards are at, and it should hopefully grow from here. It went from that to, it could have gone to a complete flop if Steam was removed from the equation, because most of the player base for Marathon is on Steam. So PlayStation has noticed that the multiplayer games thrive on PC. They're going to keep them there, but their single player stuff, clearly most of the adoption is happening on their own platform. So they're placing their bets on that. And so what will Xbox do in return will be a very interesting conversation, no doubt about it, right? Because they have committed harder than ever. They've put games out day and date on PlayStation. They've also put their most valuable IP on other platforms, including PlayStation soon, with Halo Campaign Evolved. So I don't know what Xbox will end up deciding all this, but right now, focusing on the world of PlayStation, is this the right call for them with all the information out here? Is this the right call for them? I think you look at Saros and you go, nope. It definitely is going to force them to make some safer choices, but I think for what PlayStation values, this makes the most sense for them. This is the way the entertainment world works, unfortunately. I'll always bring up my sports example. You know, when you look at sports and sort of how they sell their packages to their fans, Fox Sports gobbles up some games. So does Netflix. So does Apple TV. They all gobble up some games, and they force you to come onto their network where you see the things they're advertising, and they make money off of those advertising deals. And that's what gets you into their ecosystem. Speaking of things like Netflix, Apple TV, their subscription services make exclusive TV shows and movies or deals to get this content, like legacy content, like, trying to think what does Peacock have? Harry Potter only? And that's obviously a really popular one. This creates value. And so I don't think gaming really ever should have tried to get away from that, from my point of view. I could be wrong. I could see more information, and this could be just one of my worst takes. But I feel like it's in the sports world, they need to kind of stop splitting up games so much. In gaming, though, it feels like sometimes it's like the necessary evil to get some games off the floor, right? Like some games that need to be made, I think a platform needs to see value in it. This makes us distinct because our competitors cannot have it. It might be a 1-year deal, and then it can go to other platforms, and then ports and reselling those becomes the business model for the developer. But also, developers have argued that the crumbs that they get from things like port sales on multiple platforms, that does help them stay afloat too, helps them stay in business too, helps them invest. So that's why I call it necessary evil, because I don't think it's the one-shot best way of doing things like it maybe was a couple generations ago. But I think for PlayStation and their business, where going multi-platform is going to water down their box, which they find the most valuable because most of their money comes from first-party sales, and getting you to buy into the first-party stuff and then go to PSN for all your other games, they cannot risk that, because if you start going to Steam, you'll start buying all your other games on Steam. Like if you can run Wolverine on Steam on your PC, all your other PlayStation games could come there, and now you're just giving Epic a cut of the pie. So I get why they're doing it. I'm interested to see how it all plays out, because we're in a point now where there's debate about exclusive games and like if this is the right play or not. I think for PlayStation it makes sense, but will it actually be from a financial level the right call? You look at Saros and you wonder, not so sure. Ghost of Viote, you think, yeah, probably the right idea. But will that base continue to grow? We'll see in due time. Chad, I'm looking forward to getting your thoughts on this, because I feel like everyone's going to have a different take on this. Like, what do you think about PlayStation exclusives making a return, and if it's going to pan out well for them? Let me get this up to Emmett in the meantime. Let's see what Stream's got to say here. Got a couple of super chats as well. Square Enix wants Gen A, but they never once waved at a Fortnite collab with 7. They have a line with the Disney and no big film / Disney Plus series. Even Nintendo knew. Yep. Ice Cap Lord's hitting the nail on the head. Yeah. Square slow on the uptake, unlike Capcom. Squid of Cheeses became a member. Thank you, dude. I appreciate you. Literally why I'm at the sports bar every Sunday to watch games and the wings. I love that. Yeah, man. It's a tough decision, but I think they're making the right call. It's just a matter of like how they can grow that base, because eventually those sales, if development costs continue to rise, those sales won't be enough. fine. I wish I could play Spider-Man, but it'll never happen. Man, the sports thing is so annoying. My TV only got one of the 3 Subway series. Yeah, Zeroification. I had the same issue. I got the SNY one, and that was it. I'm a PlayStation super fan, but this generation has pushed me away towards PC and Switch. I'm a PC and Switch guy as well. It's definitely not good for Xbox. Yeah, because the pressure's now heightened for them. Probably not going to grab a PS6 at this rate. Yeah, it feels like everything's so in flux, too. Rondo, it's apparently still coming out. Yeah, I think the Witcher 3 DLC is still on the way. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Just one more. Alex Mercer, you're good, bro. Transformers War for Cybertron needs to come back. War for Cybertron's multiplayer is fast-paced, chaotic, so fun, especially the Conquest mode. Yeah, I actually never got a chance to play this until much later, so I missed out on the multiplayer wave. But yeah, dude, it was apparently what I saw and what I saw and apparently what I heard. It was really great. I remember a YouTuber I watched, Muzzafuzza, using Transformers multiplayer gameplay in the background of one of his videos, and like that was a huge throwback for me. Like I was like, wow, like this. I remember looking it up and being like, holy shit, dude, like this was the thing COD YouTubers were using. Like that's crazy. Let me X out all my stuff here. I think I might end up canning this stream a little bit early. I had a third story, but it's about the player voice stuff, and I don't really have much to say on it, honestly. So I kind of want to, I might just, like I said, can this stream a little bit early and just get some dinner and kick my feet up before my my meeting I have and just talk with the chat here. What odds that Xbox backtracks the new Xbox having some sort of multiple storefronts? Do you think they will just make the next Xbox a Xbox only, or next console an Xbox only experience? It seems like they're trending in that direction, since Asha Sharma said she wasn't there for the decisions that were made for things like Epic Game Store, and she had like no comment on them being on the next Xbox with Helix. I do think they are like really opening the door for like at least pulling away from that and making that their central storefront. I never really understood the whole idea of like having Steam and Epic on your, I mean, it's good for us as players, like just having all your games on one thing, but also we need to understand and accept that Xbox needs to survive and sell units. And like, if people are going to other storefronts on your box and you're collecting no dollars from that, then why would you don't make enough on hardware? You don't sell enough hardware. So like having people just buy your hardware and going to Steam or Epic Game Store isn't going to benefit you at all. People aren't going to split up their libraries. The main thing people don't want to do with Steam is split up, or with the PC, which is what leads them to Steam, is splitting up their libraries. So Xbox kind of like molding a console environment around the idea of like, go to multiple storefronts. It gives you access to games, but it also leaves your games in a ton of different places. But to be fair, I almost forgot this. Xbox app does have it where all of your games are in like one place. They do a good job of that. So they'll have all their different launchers. Like you'll have the Steam logo or the GOG or Xbox. But you can launch them all through the Xbox app, and that is pretty good. So I think they're going to lean more to console experience. It seems like they're going back to basics, and we'll see where that lands them. If everyone ends up fine after all of this change and turbulence throughout this generation, everyone ends up fine, and all these things we've heard about, like rising development costs, and we need to go multi-plat because of this, and that. We need to make more money, and all this panic that's been caused over the years. If this all just ends up being like, yeah, we're doing fine now, actually. We're doing quite well. I'm going to have some real big questions about like where the industry is at and like were they telling the truth the whole time. We'll see how our Lego Batman videos doing on Retro Rebound. I have high hopes for that one. I love doing our comparison videos, but also like it is Lego stuff, and so sometimes Lego stuff doesn't do super well. It's doing well. Fuck yeah. Love that. Yes. Awesome. Would love to play Lost Odyssey officially on PC. Yeah, like that's the thing. The accessibility cannot be overstated on why it's super important. Squid and Cheese is good to see you, man. Thank you for this. Is super nice of you. Holy shit. For snack funds and dinner. And I always feel torn on exclusivity, but I can see pros and cons with it. I just get sad when I think, for example, some gamers can't enjoy Elder Scrolls 6 at launch. Yeah, again, like yeah, exactly. You talk pros and cons, Squid. And like, that's the thing is like, you know, it sucks people are going to miss out, but these companies need to make their business off of it too. And it's like, I'm not sitting here bootlicking, by the way, when I say this. It's like, I don't blame them for weaponizing Elder Scrolls 6. It's like everyone's going to want to play it. I don't think everyone's going to boycott it. I think if Xbox is looking down the tubes, they're like, we got, Call of Duty, we got Elder Scrolls. It's like if they weaponized exclusivity earlier, and they had like the stock to support it, people would be buying Xboxes aplenty. They have the content. The IP is another question. Like, they have the IP, but the ones that they've chose to green light, I'm not going to pick on my usual suspects like I do, but they have IP that they could be green light, like more Fallout, and they're not. And you're looking at this year where it's like Forza's doing really well. I'm sure Fable will do really well. I'm sure Gears should do well. Halo should do well. These could be all things pushing your box forward, though, is how I'm looking at it. So thank you again for the snack and dinner fund. I appreciate you. Who knows what I'm going to eat tonight? We have a lot of frozen soup in the freezer, and so it's looking like soup weather right now. It's still a little cloudy out. Thinking it might be soup weather today. But I appreciate this, because when I order some food, I'll be thinking of you, Squid. Ice Cap Lord again. Let me bring up your super chat here. Thank you. Appreciate you. If exclusives are here to say, I think Sony needs to invest in more experiments like Sons of Sparta for the periods where big IP aren't in the short term. I agree. This is what I think made us give a fuck about some franchises. Kingdom Hearts is the first to come to mind for me. Think about Kingdom Hearts a little bit. We've gotten Kingdom Hearts 3, we thought the wait was really long. We got Dream Drop Distance, and then it was a forever wait until 3. And in between that, we got 1.5, 2.5 Remix, which was crazy because it's like, yay, these games are back. And some are accessible on other platforms. But the wait for 4 has been even longer. I think about why we give a fuck about Kingdom Hearts at all. And it's because of the early 2000s. It was like Kingdom Hearts 1. Here comes Rechain of Memories. Here comes Recoded. Here comes 2. Here comes 358 over 2 days. Here comes Birth by Sleep. I'm probably forgetting some. There's so fucking many of them. But these games are what made us fans, because we just got more and more of the thing we wanted. And I think that's what we're missing nowadays, is discoverability is at an all-time high. You have social media. You have more money than God himself. And social media, if you make bangers that are shareable, these spin-offs become mainline, Like, they become mainstream success is really the term I was looking for there. So, yeah, I think they're cheaper to make, quicker to make. Development partnerships can fill in those gaps while the main teams cook on those known IP. I think leaving IP dormant is one of the biggest mistakes that this industry has done. It works for movies. Movies will show up, do their thing, and drop it like in 1980, and that will be it. You don't see people remaking Alien. I think. I hope not. I love Alien. It's one of my favorite movies ever. Gaming, though, because so much value is staked on the visuals, can get away with like retreading old ground in interesting ways. And I just look at that and I'm like, dude, I'm not saying I am saying it's easy. It's easier than I think. It's easier than I think the amount of failing we're seeing is suggesting, where I'm just like, what are we fucking doing here? Like we're experimenting in all the ways that make sense for PlayStation, but not for their fans. Like this whole live service push. Fucking who actually wants fair games right now? I haven't even seen the game. Who wants this, though? It's like, we know what we want from PlayStation. Trace Wolves, that's a really good point. The last stretch of Alien is tough to watch because it's such a dark movie. And not in the good way. Like, it's actually hard to see. But yeah, I'm all for to go back to what Ice Cap Lord said. I'm all for going back to these classic IP and just like letting it fucking rip, dude. Like just spin-offs and new ideas. Like spin-offs are some of my favorite media. It's funny. Dragon Age 2 was supposed to be a spin-off, and that's like because it was called Dragon Age 2, I think it underwhelmed. And also it had one setting, Kirkwall. But Dragon Age 2 is like kind of awesome in a lot of ways. And like that was supposed to be a spin-off, and if it was treated as such, I think it would be remembered much more fondly. Looking at other games on my shelf here. Castlevania Lords of Shadow, spin-off series. It's not mainline. That was awesome. Lego games are another great example. Just keep chipping away. Like, this industry is very experimental in a good way, but also sometimes, like, I think Larian is a good example. Again, I'll bring them up. Larian had their most successful game ever in Baldur's Gate 3. And I feel like what usually happens when these companies hit their most successful games is they just go crazy because they got house money to play with. So look at From Software right now. Not saying they're going away from Souls-likes at all. Whatever they do next, you know, I cannot wait to see because it'll be more of the shit that we love. But after Elden Ring, we did get Night Rain. And Night Rain was more roguelite in some ways than like Souls-like. You know, and now we're doing things like, what is it, the Blood? Dusk Bloods, I think is what it's called. This multiplayer Switch 2 game that's exclusive there, by the way, which is crazy. You know, we're kind of starting to fuck around on that level. And I do feel like sometimes, like, I look at a company like Larry and I'm like, I think they just get it because they had Baldur's Gate 3 and now they got house money and they could make anything they want to. Anything. But they're like, we're doing another turn-based game. It's like, yeah, this is what your fans want. And like, you just got to buckle down on that. You just got to buckle down on that. And I think a lot of this industry gets away from their own success. Rocksteady's another great example. You are known for great superhero games. Why are you making a live service shooter? Why? What are we doing, man? Just no fucking sense there. BioWare. You are known for great single-player RPGs. EA, why are you having this company make Anthem? Why? The best thing we got from BioWare in multiplayer was a part of a single-player game, and it was the Horde mode in Mass Effect 3. It's fucking amazing. Just crazy, dude. Crazy, crazy. So I think this industry just has a habit, whether it be publisher pressure or just creative decision making, that just gets you away from your successful formula. And I think while creatives love a lot of change, I do think the consumer gets rattled by that if you change too much. Greedfall is another example. Greedfall 1 did really well. Spider's best game. It took them forever to do another Greedfall game, and they completely changed the combat system, and it pissed off the core base. And the new people coming in did not look at this and go, oh my God, it's Dragon Age Origins, but for a new generation, because it was in early access, so it didn't look good enough. Couldn't get any word of mouth going. It's like, you probably should have just, it would have been quicker to just make Greedfall 2 with the same combat system and more improvements, and just doubling down on what you did and doing it better. I feel like that's always got to be the plan. Always, always, always. Make the thing that people like the first time and give them that shit again. I'm not saying run it back like boring wise like Call of Duty, but hopefully I'm getting the point across. I just think you can experiment within your own sequels in interesting ways, like recontextualizing ideas that people know. Don't even get me started, man. I can't believe Star Wars Eclipse is hinging on the success of a game with 15 daily players. Exactly. And you could argue would have been better just to take all those resources and put them into Eclipse. At least it might be close by now. Quantic Dream, man. It's fucking crazy. Uncharted's a great example. Yeah, Naughty Dog knew they had something. And when they moved on from Uncharted, I don't think they're really permanently moved on, but it made sense. They did 1, 2, 3, 4, Lost Legacy, like so much Uncharted, and they knew it worked. People fucking love Uncharted, you know? And when they went to Last of Us, it was a one-time experiment that then they're like, oh, people really like that, and they did a second one, which, you know, like, hit or miss, depending on who you ask. And the TV show did not help at all. But Last of Us 1, dude, fuck yeah. There's ways to intelligently experiment without abandoning your core base. Because what did we get after Last of Us 1? It was Uncharted 4. So, I don't know, man. Some companies get their fans, some don't. Christopher, thank you for your super chat. You love turn-based games and tabletop RPGs. Do you ever play strategy games like Stellaris and Company of Heroes? I do not. I'm just not big brain enough right now, dude. Like, I gotta work on that shit. I'm just not smart enough for it. It's just not something I'm really great at. I just always smooth brain it. I think of like, I don't know if this would qualify, but I think of like, what is it? Halo Wars, or what's the other game? Age of Empires. Like, I'm such a fuck around, find out kind of guy, so I work really well in things like RPGs, but when you get to things like strategy, where it's like you need to think a few steps ahead, Civilization, I just like getting into a flow state. I'm not really thinking. I'm thinking, but I'm not like an expert, is what I would say. So, yeah, I'm too stupid for him, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a strategy guy, unfortunately. I can strategize in combat and in storytelling and that sort of stuff. Like, I'm good at that. But when it comes to strategy games, like, that's someone else's job, man. Maybe I should try more, though. I'm kind of, like, shortchanging myself. But, yeah, like, I've tried Halo Wars Online. I've gotten embarrassed with that. Total War Warhammer 3, someone's bringing up in chat. My friends love that game. Like, I'm not good at that. Yeah. Not something I'm a specialist in. That's for damn sure. Oh, David says, are you ready for Rogue Trader 100 plus hours? Oh, God, you had to bring that up. When I was talking earlier about JRPGs that I want to play, I was talking Xenoblade, and I was talking about, what was the other game? Shin Megami Tensei. I was like, yeah, these sound really good. And then Rogue Trader, you just brought this up. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I didn't want to play that. I did want to play that. Well, someone make a day with longer hours or something. Like, someone invent that shit. I need more time so I can do this sort of stuff. Eliminate sleep completely. I could do a lot with a full 24 hours, I feel. Ruben says, so no chess. I don't play much chess. So yeah, you can even throw that one into the lot. Stellaris is weirdly kind of like an RPG strategy game. A lot of events you choose and things happen because of your empires you built and decisions. Well, yeah, that's more up my alley then. I thought you would mean like raw strategy games. Like, one of my least played Star Wars games from the golden era of Star Wars games is Empire at War. Because of the type of game it is. I played like an hour of it and I was like, I don't know if I'm cut for this, dude. I gotta be honest with myself, man. Like, I gotta admit my shortcomings. I'm not an expert on every genre. I'd say I'm an RPG expert. I'm really good with shooters, but strategy games, like, I'm still figuring them out. Like, what is it? It is Empire at War, right? Yeah, it's $20 right now on Steam. Holy crap. Overwhelmingly positive. Would this be, yeah, this is considered an RTS strategy. Yeah. I'd like to be good at this. The mods for this game look sick, but you'll still never find. I'm just not that guy, pal. Let's see. Let's watch a video together on it. Let's. When I say video, I mean like someone else's actual content. I mean just some gameplay, like Star Wars Empire at War. Let's see what we got here. First video I find here. 20 years later, Star Wars Empire at War is still amazing. I'll have to check that out. The greatest Star Wars RTS ever made. Star Wars Empire at War review. Is Star Wars Empire at War worth it? These are getting like recent reviews. 2 months ago, 4 months ago. How I accidentally became Palpatine in the best Star Wars game you've never heard of. Let's see. Can I just get some like raw gameplay here? Empire at War. Fall of the Republic. Okay. Let's see here. Total conversion mods. Yeah, some of these are sick. Empire at War mega campaign. All right, let's see here. Does this have commentary?
To a brand new series.
Shut up. Let's see here. Empire at War, no commentary. I should probably shut off the Elder Scrolls music if we're about to watch a little bit of this. Okay. There's so many campaigns. What do you... Thrawn's Revenge mod. Oh. Sure. Let's just go... Let's pick something random here. 14 minutes. Part 4. So this just got cutscenes too. I didn't know that. Let's tab through a little bit.
Understood. We await your signal.
Use Boba Fett to destroy all the sensor pods.
Yes, I've got a little surprise for you. Enemy sighted.
Yes, I'm so ass at this shit, dude.
The enemy is approaching.
I've got to take out that satellite before it triggers an
See, like right here, I'm like, okay, I'd be like clicking everywhere. Let's see what happens like later in the mission.
This pirate may know the identity of the traitor we seek.
He's assigning fleets and shit. This game looks crazy.
Invasion commencing.
Land battle. Oh shit. Oh hey, it's like a command post from Battlefront.
Choose your reinforcements.
Setting course.
Moving out.
Inputting coordinates.
At maximum unit capacity.
Form up. Holding position.
Yes.
Awaiting orders.
Complete.
Look at all this. Look at all this clicking you got to do to play a damn video game.
Too much. Yes.
Okay. Is he about to take out a?
Hide in there.
He can use the force to take out a. Oh my god, that's crazy.
They will join us or die.
So he's just marching with Darth Vader on his own.
Alert all commands.
This is kind of making me, I don't know, Christopher. I know you wrote in about it, and I was kind of down on myself. This is kind of making me want to flirt with some danger here.
Turret has been sold.
Okay. Let's just keep skipping
This
ahead here.
way.
The conversion mods are what interest me as well. Just like if they did an Old Republic conversion mod, like here, I bet this shit exists. Hang on, Star Wars Empire at War, Old Republic mod. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Revan's Revenge? What is this?
Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello and welcome to another video, and I have been pumped to make this one because yes, in the background there, that's the Starforge. That's a Sith Interdictor cruiser.
Yeah.
We are testing out and starting a campaign in faction,
No fucking way.
but there will be other things going on the map. But with that being said, let's go Terrace. We'll see how that goes for them.
Terrace?
We've got, there were Cotton Remnants on Meriden. We've got
I want to see like.
Tion but I'll worry about that later.
Oh, you can
Alright,
literally
space
see in
battle
the
time.
icons down below, like the Old Republic.
But let's go ahead and
Oh, yeah, look at the icons and stuff. Like, oh, it's straight up Old
call
Republic
our
shit.
fleet in.
Of course it
Hopefully
is.
we can get them down before.
Oh, cool.
Stalwart is a supremacy attack.
So this is where I get lost in the sauce with strategy stuff. Like, I just see
Yeah, look how
all of
quickly
these
our shields went
icons
down
and
there. So, all right, let's
things
get fighters
attacking
in.
each other, and I'm like, how do you know what the right choice is? How do I
It's
set myself
scary,
up to
like,
not
the-
just get
the
completely
battles move
trucked?
quickly. We need to make sure that we don't, like, our support ships can't just be sitting back here. They've got to be engaged.
Okay, this guy's walking
Look
us
how
through it.
quickly
They
our
got to be
shields on this thing
engaged.
are being worn down.
If you want to learn RTS games, YouTube tips can make your
All
life
right,
a
let's
lot
get
easier.
Fighters in.
I'm certainly open to it. I mean, this is the type of thing that would speak to me. This is the gateway drug.
Kind of scraping our way through this one.
Whoa.
I like that. So I guess they're.
This is cool.
Damn, look at this thing.
Got a super chat here.
Are those my units? being
I'm
destroyed?
commenting
Oh,
about
no.
your last stream, and I admit I'm biased, but Star Fox 64 is my favorite
yeah,
Star
they
Fox
are
game. It
too.
was my second game ever, but I think you need to give it a fair chance and you'll see the magic. Okay, I can do that. A lot of people were
Jeez.
very upset with my Star Fox take because they were like, you got to play it. And I will give it a shot. I will try at least the
Turbo Laser's not
remake
doing a whole
and
lot
see, because
me.
I would love to be wrong. That said, remake Star Fox Assault, you cowards. Bastila.
careful,
Wait, did I just hold up? That's Bastila. That's Jolie Bindo. I might be a strategy guy after all. Man. Well, now, that's pretty special. Thank you for the shout out there. That's definitely Star Wars Empire at War. You might be on the docket at some point. I'll add that to my spreadsheet of backlog priorities, because that is one game from the golden era of Star Wars that I have not really engaged with much. So let me add that. Backlog priorities. What are you? Star Wars Empire at War. Okay. How often do people call me Marty? Not in real life all the time, but online constantly. What's this about a new Infamous? We covered it already. You can kind of rewind the stream and see, but there was rumors, thanks to Jordan Midler, of Infamous rumored to have a return, and so what that could be. So we talked about that pretty extensively for like 20 minutes. Plus the chat stream was like another 20 minutes as well. So full conversation there. But yeah, it's looking like it's rumored to come back. And so that's very exciting. Damon writes, are you into strategy like Zero Company? Yes. Yeah, like you're talking XCOM strategy. Like, I don't know if that qualifies, but 1,000%. XCOM's fucking amazing. I love XCOM, and Zero Company is one of my most anticipated games this year. Provided it's coming out this year, but like, I cannot wait for that one. So yeah, 100%. 100%. This type of strategy fits me very well. Debate Nate, I have not tried Thaumaturge yet. I do have it in my Steam library. I bought it on a sale, but I've not played it yet. But it did look very good. Hence why I bought it. True Dark Thief, we did talk about Forza Horizon. Actually, at the very opening of the stream, if you want to check it out, we did talk about the current player count, and I was kind of talking about how I was like, I think it's all right. Like, the player count's amazing, but the game itself is all right. Sorry, I should have specified there. Yeah, Palmer's. It's like the worst thing about being called Matty. Everyone always ends up calling me Marty. Everybody. It's so funny. Anyway, guys, it's 6 where I'm at right now. I got a meeting in an hour, so I'm gonna bounce right now and get something to eat and maybe squeeze in a little walk if I can, just to move my legs. I've been at my chair all day today, so I want to free my ass a little bit. It's fucking hurting from sitting all day. I have a Herman Miller, but yet it's falling apart, I guess. But thank you for being here. We'll be back on Friday, so look forward to that. And we'll talk whatever's going on in the games industry. But thank you again for being here, for supporting the streams so much. Just, again, very thankful to have such a great community here. So we'll be back then. So be well. Video probably tomorrow, just because it's Wednesday, so we always have an upload. What it will be, I don't have an answer for you yet. But I'm pretty sure this week we'll give you the final verdict, at least for Lego Batman. So look forward to that. But otherwise, we'll talk very soon. Be safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for spending some time with me. And